Give me that link. I'm gonna throw that shit out. So
we are live now. I will send it to. I will post it on the old Facebook. This is my second time doing this. So first time last week we got one viewer, and that was Emily. So
nice.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere. You got to start.
Yeah, last week our grab bag was kind of a one viewer, and that was Emily. Right. Well, there's the link. I hate hearing myself, so that's fantastic. All right. 145 episodes. Hasn't gotten any easier listening to my fucking voice. Never does. Still sound.
I've got the voice of somebody who should be the lead singer of Newfound Glory, so I understand. It's whiny, emo, and terrible. So all into that. All in.
All right. Let me tweet this link out, and you'll have access to it.
Oh, let me turn my air conditioner off. That might help.
I have a little fan action going in the background here. I gotta get off of Facebook. There's too many uncles trying to call me out for not being a racist. So
I just tweeted the link at you guys, so you should have it
perfect.
Beautiful
on your end. I'll just add my music in afterwards, and we can just get right into it if you guys are good.
Good to go.
Ken, Dave,
all set.
I'm good. All right, let's do it. 3, 2. Welcome in, Crossing State Lines, episode 146, one of our most anticipated of the year so far. Dave and I were so excited about this one that we fast-tracked it. We were going to do it probably sometime next week, and then we were like, fuck it, we're going to do it like right now. So, Dave, first of all,
we're going to do it live.
That's right. Literally, we'll do it live. So, Dave, the mayor of Stoneham, Massachusetts, is joining us here. Dave, what's good?
Not much. I actually caught up on F is for Family today, season 4. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Bill Burr. I really wish that the Bill Burr property you were consuming right now was the King of Staten Island, but that's okay. That's fine. We weren't.
I will get there.
We were both supposed to watch Space Force, and we're still about 3 episodes in. So you know what? We missed the boat on that one. But I'm not too disappointed about that. But Dave, we can't do this draft without, and actually I didn't even say what it is, so that's great. But people can read the YouTube link or the episode. We're doing a build your own streaming service draft, and I'll explain a little bit more what that's going to entail in just a second. But let's introduce the guests first. We have Jeff McNamara, Mac of the Mac and Goo podcast. Mac, what's good?
Happy to be here. I'll tell you what, you DM me and basically just said we want to do a draft, and as soon as you said draft, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I love drafting things. We could draft anything, and I'd be in.
Who doesn't love drafts? And you know who also loves drafts? That's Ken Border of the JKLOL podcast. Ken, what's good?
Not much, man. I really am enjoying this format here. I've never been in like a Brady Bunch situation before where I'm like hanging out with 4 dudes. Do I like point at people? Is that I'm backwards? There we go. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on. We're gonna have a good time today. So also a big fan of drafts.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a good time. So what we're gonna do is, and we have no time to waste because we're going to be doing a build your own streaming service draft. Literally every show and movie is on the table. We're going to draft 5 shows each, 5 movies each, and a director and actor to create a movie exclusive for our platform. As drafts go, goes without saying, once one is off the table, you cannot take it. That's just for the listeners. I know everybody here knows that. But so you can take whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want to take your director first, go for it. If you want to take your actor first, your movie, whatever, you can do what the hell you want. It's a snake draft. The order has been predetermined. Mac will go first. Then we will have Ken, then Dave, then me, Dave, Ken, Mac, so on and so forth. So without further ado, we can get right into it. Mac, you have the first pick, and you are on the clock. And
I'm pretty excited. I think the easiest way to describe this for the people is the way you describe it to me. If you think about a fantasy football draft, you need to fill certain positions. If you need 3 receivers, you can take the receivers whenever. So that's what we're doing here. If I want to take 5 shows, 5 movies, that you can take them whenever you want to. I was stoked to get the top pick in the draft because for me, I'm gonna build this streaming service the way that I use streaming services, and I would say of the thousands of hours I've watched streaming services of it over the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, a majority of it has been watching The Office. So I'm gonna take The Office number 1 overall. It's first of all, it's my favorite television sitcom of all time, not including HBO Showtime. But I think it hits the lowest common denominator as far as those comedies go. It's easy to put on in the background. It's easy to binge. It's just so good on every level. And The last couple seasons aren't great, but the first 6 or 7 is better than what most other sitcoms give you. Some of them don't even make it to 6 or 7. So for me, with a bullet, The Office is number 1.
Yeah, that was number 1 on my big board over here, the Mel Kiper.
Yeah, I feel this is I'm having PTSD to the Pokemon draft I did with you back. Is someone gonna pop out and like steal my spot or like take my shit? Like,
no, I can confirm. You can see the email. The link was only sent to the. I guess I could have sent it separately, but no, it's only the 4 of us. So no one's gonna hop in and steal the spotlight and send Ken volcanic. So,
I mean, you don't want to see it. It's disgusting and sad. And I mean, at the same time, Jeff, that's the pick you got to take number 1 overall. There's no other pick. The Office is the.
Even if it's not your favorite, I feel like it's in everyone's top 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you can say that about everything else.
Yeah, you put it on when you go to sleep. You put it on when you're eating dinner. You know, like it's one of those shows you can sit and watch it for 3 hours and watch it, or it can be on the background and like it's just streaming. Like you're
exactly.
good to go.
And also, before you make your pick, Ken, just want to get in there. I'm keeping track of the draft board, and I'm also ticking off how many movies and TVs you've drafted. If you forget, just ask me, and I've got it all tracked here.
Very good.
So, Ken, without further ado, the second overall pick is yours.
Mac, you really made this fucking challenging for me. Really upset by this because I have my top tier shows, but The Office was like the number 1, and then it's like The Office and everybody else.
Ken had one show, wrote down one.
You probably should have prepared. Would be what I would say.
One show. All right, so son of a bitch. This actually might be a really controversial pick because you got to go TV shows first, in my opinion. You can't go movies yet because TV shows are rewatchable. You can watch a movie every once in a while, but you got to go TV shows. I'm going for a TV show that has broken comedy barriers. It is. Has longevity, still exists today, and ruffles feathers for thousands and thousands of people all around the world. I am going to take for my streaming service number 1 overall pick, South Park.
Ooh, I don't hate it.
I love South Park. You can watch season 1 all the way to today's seasons. Randy Marsh is probably one of the best fictional characters to ever grace television. You can't go wrong with having South Park on. They're 20 minutes long, and I know that right now, currently, I think that South Park is on Hulu or something, but I mean, it's just a great show. It's stood the test of time here.
Yeah, it wasn't too high on my board just because I'm trying to balance it with, what are people going to want to watch / if I'm watching this streaming service. Like, I like South Park, but it's not my favorite show in the world. There's, if I'm catching it on TV, I laugh at things every now and then, but it's a good show. I mean, I can't fault you. It's also, you're looking at content wise, there's 20 seasons of that show.
20 seasons, and on top of that, I think that it is the better of the top tier animated shows that come out. I know there are other ones that people are have great fandoms for, but I think that South Park is, I can throw on episodes of South Park and die laughing. It's just so good.
I think what South Park has going for it, unlike say a show like The Simpsons, is there's a definitive peak of The Simpsons and then a steep cliff. There's obviously better seasons than others for South Park, but South Park is always good, no matter what. It's never going to be bad. It just never is.
And you got Randy Marsh. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There's no one better. No one better.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
The GOAT.
I would say, to keep with the fantasy football comparison, TV shows are like running backs. You need to take them early. They're going to get you a lot of longevity, a lot of points. But movies are probably like quarterbacks. Unless it's the best of the best, you probably are going to stay away from them for a little while.
Yeah,
you got to draft those 4th or 5th round. You can get your movie, but you got to get your TV shows first. That's important in the streaming service.
And you got that one idiot who drafts the Seahawks defense in the 5th round.
They draft
cover 3. Gotta love cover 3.
Fuck that.
Justin Tucker, my 5th overall pick.
Hey, he sings amazing opera. How dare you?
Justin Tucker does?
Yes, look it up. It's beautiful. He's a trained classical opera singer.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, the more you know.
There you go. The more you know. Well, David, is your pick.
All right. Man.
Your number 1 or number 2 is still there because no one else had South Park at number 2. I can tell you that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm swinging back around. I've got ideas for the swing back. Don't worry.
All right. I was debating whether or not to go with longevity. I think you guys hit it right. Comedies always have a longer longevity because you can watch them. They're lighter. You don't have to necessarily pay attention every time, but if you do, you're happily pleasantly surprised, or I should say, with every episode. I'm gonna switch it. I was gonna go a drama, but I'm gonna go comedy. I'm gonna take It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
All right,
I think there's so many seasons, there's so many rewatchable episodes. It's too easy to watch. You can sit there and get totally consumed by it and watch it all day.
I agree. And as far as like your television sitcoms, for me, that's like in the top 5 or 6 right there. So it would have gone in this first 2 rounds no matter what. And if it didn't, it would have been an absolute crime. So you got to get what you want. It's a good pick.
It was on my list. It was on my short list. It was close. I went animated because I was going for more longevity, but Always Sunny. I think it's at this point, the next season, it is the longest running
15,
sitcom.
I think.
Yeah, which is nuts. It's crazy how long they've been going, and they're still good.
Oh, yeah. Another crossover we did with the JKLL podcast. Top 10 Sunny episodes. It was a good one.
That
was the first time we had ranked, I think, 20, right, Jake? That was when we were ranking them on the podcast.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that was the only show we branched to 20 because there was just so many episodes.
Oh, yeah.
What I love about Always Sunny is, unlike, say, The Office or some of the other top shows, like my top 10 episodes list is probably completely different than everyone else's. And that's kind of how it works for that show, which is weird, but that's just how that show is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I never listen to people rank it. Like, you're like, how the hell is that not even on your top 20, but it's like my number 2.
Right,
because
right.
It just connects with everyone so differently. The show it hits so good.
Absolutely. No, I love Sunny. I think it was number 4 on my big board over here. So it probably would have gotten taken if Dave didn't snatch it up. But I'm going to start my first of 2 picks with a show that I'm very happy was still on the board. And like in the Mortal Kombat draft, I'm cornering the market on 1 vote specifically at least. Actually 2 votes specifically at least. And one of them is Emily's, no doubt. So I'm going to start off with Parks and Rec. That's my first pick.
All right.
Parks and Rec I love Parks and Rec. I think I love The Office more, obviously, but Parks and Rec has a lot of rewatchability. I think the only thing there's some stuff it has over The Office, but I think it ended at the right time, unlike The Office. But it's a great show, a lot of great characters, many memorable episodes, lines, all that good stuff. So I got to go with Parks and Recreation to kind of anchor it. That'll be the one that's, on the top of the streaming service. The first one you see, like, wow, they got Parks and Recreation. Except unlike HBO Max, where they got Friends, people will actually be excited. So at least
I was wondering when someone was going to shit on Friends.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Friends is fine. Don't get me wrong. Friends is fine, but shots fucking fired on Friends and HBO Max already. God damn.
Yeah, they really spent a lot of money on that, and don't know if that really played to their effect.
It's all right. It's all right.
So I'm really struggling with my second pick. I'm between 2 shows. One, actually both of them, I really, really love dearly, and I think Dave knows where I'm going with this.
I think I do.
Says coolest ever dude. I love it. That's a great comment. See, it's tough because it's snaking back to me, and there's going to be 6 picks, and I know that both these shows are going to be gone, but I got to go with Breaking Bad. I got to take it. It's the best drama. I know Dave is pissed because that's probably his next pick, but
that was my next pick.
So I got to go Breaking. It's the best drama of all time, in my opinion. It's not exactly overly rewatchable because it is such a brutal TV show to watch, but there's just so many classic episodes of that show and so many great performances. And when you dive into a rewatch of that show, you really, really are committed to it. And it's like, there really is nothing else to say, but it's the greatest drama of all time, at least in my opinion. And I think having that as the tentpole drama of my station, or my service rather, is really going to carry us to new heights. I'm getting my Reed Hastings developed, my CEO voice. Our content is going to go.
It's a smart pick because if you miss out on your top 1 or 2 comedies at the turn here, you had to take the top drama because there's going to be a certain amount of people that are looking for that. And to me, Breaking Bad, I agree, is the best drama of all time. I don't think, and so I've rewatched Breaking Bad 3, 4, 5, 6 times now. There's really not a wasted minute in Breaking Bad, in part because it's only 5 seasons, but everything that happens in season 1 and season 2, as kind of slow as it is relative to later seasons, it's all paid off. Everything that happens sets up something else. And they like Vince Gilligan just didn't waste anything. And it's to me, the perfect drama.
No, so our episode this week, we actually did like top 5 drama characters. And my number 1's Walter White. And Walter White, I think, has the most complete story arc of any character on television because you get the beginning to end. And like, it's so satisfying. And you're rooting for him all the way to the end, even though you probably shouldn't be rooting for him because he's a piece of shit. But you love him and you want him to win, and ultimately, like, everybody around him loses. And I mean, it's tragedy. It's got great action. Breaking Bad is the best drama of all time, hands down.
And as I shouted in my car when I was listening to your podcast this week, Ken, it might not get drafted even by me, and I'm like the biggest fan of the show ever, but we would not have Breaking Bad without the X-Files. It's important to remember that.
No, that's great, right? That's such a great little tidbit right there that Vince Gilligan and Bryan Cranston worked together for the first time on X-Files.
On the
Is that where it came from?
Where Bryan Cranston plays a raging anti-Semite in that episode.
Wow.
And another interesting quick tidbit is that in that episode of X-Files, there is a brand of cigarettes that is used on the TV show on that episode, and they use that brand of cigarettes also in Breaking Bad. So it's like another homage to the X-Files there, which is pretty cool.
Shared universe.
Maybe. They did. Kind of a shared universe. There might be aliens. Pretty big deal.
Speaking of aliens, maybe that's Dave's next pick, the movie. Dave, is it?
Oh God, no!
No, I can guarantee it's not.
There's so many better movies. Don't do it.
Hey,
and then one more thing too about the Bryan Cranston thing is when Vince Gilligan first said, because he was his first choice to play Walter White, when he first went in the room with the executives and was like, "Oh, we want Bryan Cranston," they looked at him and were like, "Hal from Malcolm in the Middle? You want that guy to play the biggest killer?
Speedwalker? You want him?
Yeah, you want him? The guy gets around by everyone in his family, his kids.
Yeah. Let's get this guy on film right now in his tidy whities, and I'll show you Walter White. All right.
Well, I think that's a big reason why it works too, because you knew him as Hal, and he breaks the mold here, and you buy into that character so quickly, and because it's like such the cancer setup that has touched everyone at some point, so it's so relatable, and that's why you root for him through all 5 seasons, even when he's a piece of shit. You're like, I still want him to come out on top because I bought in on day one.
Yep, you got to buy it.
Yeah.
It's so
that's
good.
100% true. I never thought about that angle, but that is 100% true.
It's true.
All right, so let's see. My pick. There's so many good shows, and I know, like Jake said, when it comes back around, you're gonna lose 3 or 4 of them. So
you'll be there.
Oh man, yeah, it's tough. I have to go. I have to go with my roots here. I'm gonna go Seinfeld. I know it's a little bit older, and I know people maybe. Not everyone's going to love it, but I think Seinfeld is still pound for pound one of the best sitcoms ever created. And I know
Seinfeld on the way back around. God damn it.
Yeah, and if anyone was doubting its popularity too, Netflix paid like $500 million for it for like 4 years or whatever. So everyone is still very invested in this show. And it's still very, very relatable. I know it's a lot of things are outdated, like not everything's aged well, but it's still the basic premise of it is still aged very well compared to other shows.
You could take the basic concept from every Seinfeld episode and relate to it. Like, it's one of those shows that when you're 13, 14, 15, you don't really get. And then once you hit your 20s, you have a few life experiences and you're like, holy shit, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And unlike The Office, Seinfeld is set in sort of a quasi-real world where, real characters doing real things, whereas The Office is pretty much just The Office. And so Seinfeld was number 2 on my board. So you getting it here in the second round, I think, is an absolute steal.
Oh, it's a steal.
It's a good move, Dave. I mean, starting off the second round strong, got a little Seinfeld at you. I mean, you've also got the modern day raunchier version of Seinfeld on your streaming service as well. And you've got what was that now? 24 seasons of content between 2 shows.
Yeah, honestly, Jake, if you didn't take Breaking Bad, that was going to be my pick. So it would have been Seinfeld or Breaking Bad, honestly.
And if I didn't take Breaking Bad, I would have taken Seinfeld. So,
that's a win-win.
Yeah. Those are my 2 picks. So, Ken, it is back to you.
Made things super challenging for me once again. I'm having PTSD from the Pokemon draft because every time I have something next on my board, I'm waiting, and getting crushed in the meantime. Lord Almighty. All right, I guess. So I got South Park, and I know that is kind of a hot take of a first pick, but I love South Park. But I think I got to go drama in my next pick. You got to get a show that's pretty rewatchable, one that is critically acclaimed, people love. I'm going to pick up The Sopranos as my number 2 pick.
That's a great pick.
Sopranos has one of the most polarizing characters in all of television with Tony Soprano. Great supporting cast of characters. You can rewatch it. I'd say Sopranos, if you watch it today, some of the language and some of the things are a little outdated, but like the stories and the shocks and surprises and the character deaths and things like that are so like super surprising that I think The Sopranos really still holds up as one of the top dramas of our generation. So taking not Seinfeld, Sopranos. Taking Sopranos. I wanted Seinfeld. Fucking
And it's slowly building HBO Max.
Hell yeah. Well,
what I like about The Sopranos, and it's not my favorite by any means, but what I like about it is it's one of those shows that as soon as you meet a character, you either fucking love them or you fucking hate them. And it's a really fun show to talk about with other people that have seen it. So as far as streaming goes, it's a very bingeable show. You want to find out what happens next. So it's a good pick.
The only thing I will say is that I don't know if I'm in the majority or minority here, but I think that the finale was fucking terrible. And it bothered me to no end that that's how The Sopranos ended. So I know not everybody it's very polarizing. Like you said, you can either really love or hate characters. I feel like the finale for Sopranos is polarizing. You actually really enjoyed it or absolutely hated it, and I hated it. So
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either.
I don't love it, but it didn't piss me off.
It's no Breaking Bad. Like the finale for Breaking Bad was perfect. It was every note was perfect, but Sopranos, I think they kind of screwed the pooch. Kind of like Seinfeld. Seinfeld also screwed the pooch, in my opinion. But my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's. I've actually shamefully never seen The Sopranos, but
watch it. You got time, watch it.
It's ridiculous because I'm Italian and I can also watch it at any time.
I'm marrying into Italian and I've seen it. Come on.
I should. So I got a question. You're all big TV watchers. You're all big. I know we talked a little bit about it off air before Mac joined up. Mac, have you seen Dexter?
Yeah. So Dexter, when I first watched it, I felt like, holy shit. Other than Breaking Bad, because I didn't watch it until after Breaking Bad, like this is an incredible drama. And then the minute, and this is a major, major spoiler alert, the minute they kill Julie Benz off, Dexter loses his attachment to reality. And I didn't like the character after that. I didn't like the writing after that. And so I get why it happens, but they should have wrapped it up in 5 or 6 seasons. Going to 8 seasons was fucking so bad. So bad. I've never turned on a show so quickly. Other than Sons of Anarchy, I have never turned on a show so quickly because of a decision by the writers. And it bothered me to no end.
Quick question before you hop in, Ken. So I know the three of you have all seen Dexter. I know, Dave, you've seen Dexter. Ken, is it the worst finale you've ever seen?
Yes.
Oh, it's close.
Dexter's the worst finale for me. Seinfeld's actually close, but Dexter's the worst.
Yeah. I hate the Seinfeld finale. I don't know. I almost drove my car off the road when Jason Rossi took it in the Seinfeld draft.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
I almost veered into
but so many people watched it.
Yeah, fuck that. So everyone watched Madge too, and Madge is fine. Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Ken, what were you going to say?
No, I'm just going to, like, the end of Dexter, like, so I've read the Dexter books, and the books are even more outlandish than the actual.
Now we're going to brag about
reading.
reading.
I'm humble bragging about reading. Whatever. Okay. I read. But I read the books. The books are even more outlandish than the TV show. But to end it with being like, Dexter has this moral ambiguity, and someone's going to take his kid. And by the way, now he's a lumberjack. Like, go fuck yourself.
Now he loves flannel. Big flannel guy.
Yeah, we get it. Flannel's cool. Fuck you.
He's a big flannel guy.
Like if you look back to like how intense you felt watching the episodes in season 3 and 4, and then like when you get to 7 and 8, you're like, what are we doing here? Like, what the fuck? Like, is he gonna bang Deb now? Like, what the fuck is happening?
I forget. Did he actually bang Deb? He was pretty close to banging Deb.
It got really weird, but they never went full Game of Thrones.
They spent. So go ahead.
They spent half a season with Deb talking to the therapist, like, "Oh, I'm in love with my brother. I'm in love with my brother," and then it's just like you guys said. Season 4 is such a great season. It's just. And I believe John Lithgow was he won an award for that, I think. Best supporting actor.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me. He was fucking unbelievable. He was like legitimately scary.
Yeah, he was like terrifying, and he's like every so often they'd flash to him and he'd be like volunteering and he's like, "Oh, hey, here you go, kids." And it's like, who is this guy?
Sorry, I just want to point out really quickly that Jacob brought up Lord Farquaad from Shrek. I'm pretty upset by that as well. Just gonna throw it out there. I'm not a big Shrek guy because I hate Smash Mouth. So, just throwing it out there. But no, Dexter,
really taking a bold stance there against Smash Mouth. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, fuck Smash Mouth. Come on. Walking on the Sun, All-Star. Fuck
All right,
off.
I'm gonna close out round 2 here with my personal favorite
Whoa,
comedy
whoa,
of all
whoa,
time.
whoa, motherfucker. I think it's my pick.
No, you just went. You just took The Sopranos.
Oh shit, you're right. I just called you. Sorry, I'm amped up over Dexter right
First
now.
time drafting. We get it. It's okay.
I've
I'm gonna
drafted before you
finish the second round with my personal favorite comedy of all time, the R-rated Curb Your Enthusiasm, another HBO show. To me, I've always liked this more than Seinfeld. I understood it earlier than Seinfeld because you get the R rating. It's raunchier. It's more lewd. Larry David, to me, if you took all the characters from Seinfeld and Curb, I still think Larry David's the best character there. I understand that there's a lot of people that have not seen Curb because it was HBO, wasn't, ABC, NBC, CBS. But to me, it is the best comedy of all time. The Office is right there, but Curb is just a little bit further for me. And I'm stoked to get 2 of my top 3. My top 3 was The Office, Seinfeld, and Curb. So getting the Curb here at the end of the second, it really makes me happy.
Curb is a great pick. I love Curb, and I think the characters are just really, really strong too. Like, I mean, you have Susie and you have Leon, and when they introduced Leon as a full-time character, basically, I mean, that took the show up another notch.
It really did. It really did. Because you were sort of reaching the end of what they could do where Larry was going down, and then you get Wanda, you get Leon, and they just finished season 10, I think, last year, and it's as funny as it's ever been. Now they've taken a lot of time off between seasons now and then, but it's still as funny as it was back in its peak. So I think Curb, like Sunny, is just as good as ever.
Yeah, this most recent season was so good. Like the talcum powder blowjob thing, like the room, like the wedding room, like the beans. You got to get the right beans. Latte Larry, Mocha Joe, like it's
what is her name? Abby from Broad City when she plays the waitress at the golf golf clubhouse. Is so good. That episode's amazing.
Oh my god! Yeah, the new season is literally, honestly, it's peak Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, if you just told them to watch season 11, that is what the show is about.
Right, 100%. All right, so I guess I'll start round 3 here, and I feel like if I do not take a top drama here, I'm going to be regretting that with my next pick. So I'm going to take The Wire. The Wire is a show that is just universally loved, like Breaking Bad, by everyone that's seen it. I have actually not seen The Wire. This is merely, I got to take it before I don't get a drama. That's one of my life's greatest regrets. I have not seen The Godfather. I have not seen The Wire. I'll deal with that at a later date. I'll watch The Wire at some point. But everyone I have ever spoken to that I respect about movies, television, some say The Wire is better than Breaking Bad. Now, I don't know if that's possible because most of them will say, hey, when you get to season 2, just kind of, don't pay too much attention. But season 1 and 3 are great. But I'll take The Wire here and put it on the board.
It's a good get. It's going to get a lot of people in the seats. It's going to get a lot of subscribers, a lot of subs.
So I actually tried to watch The Wire like 2 or 3 years ago because I also am somebody who's never seen The Wire. And the thing I couldn't get past was the non-HD camera. I can't tell you. I watched the first.
Such a snob.
Listen, there's fucking.
I need that 4K.
Listen, I need it to be at least like 720p. Like literally, it looks like fucking cubes on the screen.
You'd rather read the book, wouldn't you?
I would rather read it. I like it, all right? Whatever. I'm a fucking teacher. Get it? But I tried to watch it, and it was like very dated for me. So there was like a ton of fucking like beepers and pagers throughout, and it was grainy, and I had a tough time watching it. But I do want to watch it. I'm gonna eventually watch it. I just have to take my glasses off and put it on not a 57-inch TV, and we'll be good. So
I have also been told by many smart people that as great of a character as Walter White is, I've been told that Omar rivals Walter White. So
yeah, I've heard that as well.
There you go.
It's a great game. That's a great game.
Well, Ken, it is your pick now.
All right, so most of my television shows are actually off the board, so I'm moving, I'm switching.
Wow.
Ooh.
Because I know I'm actually going to get my TV shows later on because I really doubt they're going to be.
Oh, I fucking hope you don't.
Ken's going Kyler Murray in the 4th round here.
You're the guy that takes Aaron Rodgers in the first round.
Hey, the fucking Ninja Championships and my
Throw
movie-
touchdowns. What do you want?
Is
Come on.
Kelvin
Hail Mary? Ever seen one?
So I'm moving off the TV shows for now, but I'm going to pick up because we're talking about rewatchability. We're talking about movies that people want to watch nonstop. I'm going to take, I think, my favorite comedy of all time. I'm going to take Step Brothers for my streaming service.
That's my number one movie on the board. Good call. If you're talking rewatchability, for me, that's it. I have seen Step Brothers so many times, edited, unedited, on cable, me streaming it. It's maybe the most quotable comedy of all time. It's just sort of like The Office. For some reason, you can sort of use Step Brothers like that. You can put it on the background, do whatever you eat, do whatever. Ken will probably read during it.
Yeah.
Step Brothers is just it's one of the rare movies that you can do that with.
He'll read the novelization of Step Brothers.
Excuse me, I read dictionaries only. How dare you? But Step Brothers is probably one of the greatest comedies, if not the greatest comedy of all time. I saw it when I was 18 in theaters and was like, I didn't even know it was supposed to be good. And I cried the entire time. Since then, I mean, Dale and Brennan are some of the greatest comedy characters of all time. I mean, the movie is so quotable, like Max said. So it draws you in. You can watch it all day long. So I got to go with Step Brothers. Got to take it.
What's your favorite scene from Step Brothers?
Oh, it's definitely a toss up between. I really love when Adam Scott's character gets he's in the car and they're like, she's like, what is it, Dale? Or no, yeah. No. That's a great scene. I'm like, I don't know why, but I fucking love the scene where he's in the car and he's like, honey, Dane Cook, 20 minutes. Come on. I don't know why, but that's my favorite line in the whole movie.
It's so good. And especially if you contrast Adam Scott in Parks and Rec to him in Step Brothers, it's amazing that he can pull both off.
Oh, it's exponentially better.
My favorite underrated line from Step Brothers is when they're at Derek's birthday party and he gets the driver and he does the bomb it down the fairway, bitches, and then they all laugh. And Rob Riggle just goes, "Shut the fuck up."
I love. This is the line I've quoted most is when they build the bunk beds. When Dale does the little dance, it's so much space for activities. That kills me every fucking time. I can't even tell you how many times I've said that.
I forgot to ask, do you like guacamole?
Brushing my teeth.
He was international waters, but yeah, he did it. I saw it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to take Step Brothers there because I feel like my TV shows will be there later because I've got some interesting TV shows in the back burner here. So you got to take the best comedy, rewatchability, Step Brothers.
That's your best pick yet.
It's a good pick.
Thank you, McLamara. I appreciate that.
So Dave, it's back to you.
This is tough because I just realized I don't have any dramas.
That's why I took the wire. I was scared to not get one.
I'm shit out of luck, I think, because I'm looking at my list and I don't really have any dramas that I like that are left. So
Dave, there is a big drama that I know you like that is still very much on the board.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but I don't think anyone else here likes that, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna play the odds.
Smart.
Smart move.
I like that. Put in the kicker position. I like that.
I'm between two right here, and I think I'm gonna go with a relatively new show. Man, I think I'm gonna go Rick and Morty here.
Wow.
I know it's probably a little bit off the board for some people, but I love Rick and Morty, and I think that
was my next pick. That was my next pick.
I'm glad I took it then.
Yep, sniped it.
That's high praise.
It's just such a good show. It's easy to watch.
I shouldn't have wore the shirt. I gave it away.
I know. When you came on, I was like, "Oh shit, he must be a Rick and Morty guy."
Gotta get it.
Who isn't a Rick and Morty guy? How can you not?
That's true. But I was thinking because everyone needs a good animated adult show because that is the current wave right now for comedies, especially on streaming. And there's so many good ones, but I still think Rick and Morty is up there with the best. It's up there with South Park. It's up there with Family Guy. It just doesn't have the longevity.
Well, what I love about Rick and Morty is because Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon are so insane that when you rewatch it, you've seen another movie or television show that they reference along the way. And so you finally pick up on that reference when you go back and rewatch and you're like, it's fucking brilliant. Every time I rewatch it, I pick up a new reference. It's just an absolutely brilliant show. It's
littered with references from everything, from anything you can think of. They reference random stuff, and then when you see it, and then it finally clicks in your head when you rewatch it, you're like, "Oh my god, that's so funny! Why didn't I get that before?"
Right.
No, I absolutely love Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is super quotable too, and there's a lot of really great episodes. My only issue with the streaming service at the moment is that you only got 4 seasons. I've rewatched them like a million times, and so like it does have rewatchability. But for me, like it's got to have like at least like 2 more seasons, like 6 seasons to be like one of the staples. And I think HBO Max has it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also sort of look at it as you're buying it as a stock almost. Like you also get the hypothetical new seasons, and it's still at its peak.
That's true. You do get that stock. You get the new seasons. I can buy into that too. I love Rick and Morty.
It's sort of like when Netflix, it was like one of their first deals. They hooked up with AMC, and they got Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Better Call Saul, and now they're locked in, and they have all these great shows that people like. That I mean, I'm sure Hulu and Amazon wish they could have a chance at it.
One of the only reasons I still have Hulu is because of the fact they have the FX deal. So I get Sunny.
It's all I watch on Hulu is FX stuff.
It's a good.
And Parks
Yeah. And what?
And Parks and Rec. I think that I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore, but it's on Hulu.
It's on Netflix.
I think it's all going to the Peacock soon. So fuck the Peacock. But
so is everything. Unfortunately,
I'm not paying for the Peacock. Fuck the Peacock.
No, it's I'll pay for the, or not pay for. I'll just watch the ad one. I don't give a shit.
There it is. I like that.
So I got back-to-back picks here. I'm definitely going to start with a TV show, and it's because I think Max doesn't have a cartoon yet either, but I can't let The Simpsons sit on the board, so I got to take The Simpsons. I mean, first of all, it's a lot of content. I'll make sure the aspect ratio is correct so people don't
Thank God
firebomb me on Twitter. But I got to take The Simpsons. It's like 30 seasons worth of content. People love it. This might be a hot take. I personally don't really like The Simpsons that much. I like some stuff. I've watched a lot of the older stuff. I really haven't watched the newer stuff. I love Sideshow Bob. He's one of my favorite characters in the show. But it's just something maybe I just missed the wave on a little bit. Maybe that's just the case. But so I got to start with The Simpsons. But Ken has me thinking, do I want to take a movie? Because it's gonna be swinging back to me. Maybe other people get thoughts about taking a movie. So what do I take is the question. I have so many options here because you guys might not know this. There's been a lot of movies made in history.
I haven't heard. I have not heard.
A lot of them have been made. This is tough. This is tough because you don't know what people want to watch. You know what people like. But I think I am going to start with a comedy. So I got to go with one of my personal favorites. Ken did take Step Brothers off the board, so damn him for that. But I got to go with the other one. I'm going to go with Anchorman because I love Anchorman. It's insanely rewatchable, insanely quotable. It's just a comedy that, like Step Brothers, you can kind of turn on. And it's different from Step Brothers a little bit. Not like it matters for us because it's a streaming service. But you can actually flick it on TV and it doesn't really matter. Like Step Brothers, they censor so much shit in Step Brothers. But Anchorman's PG-13. So it might take away from it a little bit. But it's also insanely quotable. And so many great scenes, so many great cameos. The news fight. I mean, I'm not going to be drafting the sequel. Let's put it that way. But
not good.
The first one is incredible and just really sent so many people into stardom. And I love Anchorman. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time, up there with Step Brothers and two of the other ones on this list that may or may not make it to my platform. But so I'm going to go with The Simpsons and Anchorman to close out, to begin the fourth round.
Pretty
Good
strong.
picks. Good picks.
Thank you.
Simpsons had to get taken at some point in the next couple of rounds. So I'm glad you took it. I sort of feel the same about you, like you with The Simpsons. It's not nearly my favorite show, but obviously there's some greatness there. Anchorman was my number 2 movie on the board. So you guys have done a good job sniping my movie picks.
Busting out those movies. So
Yeah,
Dave, you feeling any heat? Take a movie?
I am feeling a little bit of heat, but I go by value here. I'm not
You
scared
wanna
to take another TV show.
dip your toe in the
It's
drama.
a tight end run. Don't take a tight end. You can get one later.
It's like, the tight ends are like the dramas in this. You already missed all the top ones. May as well just get the top at the end.
It's a good comparison.
I'm gonna actually, man. I think I'm gonna actually go to movies, and I'm gonna go. I don't know if this is on anyone's list. I hope so. I'm gonna go Dodgeball here. I
Interesting.
know it's a little bit different, but I love putting it on, and I always laugh at almost everything. Patches O'Houlihan is such a funny character with his smelly scarf, and he's like, "That's for you," and it's like, "What's for me?" It's like soaked in urine. But I think overall it's just a very funny movie, and I think it's insanely rewatchable. You don't really have to pay attention either, and I think that's kind of the movies you really want to focus on with streaming.
I love that.
Bill, what is his name? Oh my God, Ben Stiller. There we go. Not Bill Stiller. Ben Stiller's wife is
Christine Taylor.
looking pretty good in that movie too. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Pretty good.
White good.
Pretty good.
Ooh, technically, because of copyright, Mac is the only one allowed to use that phrase.
Oh, shit.
We
Sorry,
can't.
man. Don't sue me, please.
I'll just do one pretty good. I'll just do pretty good.
Right, you'll do the knockoff, like it's really, really good.
It's okay.
It's good. It's the Tony the Tiger and Family Guy. Their food. No, but Dodgeball's a good pick. I love Dodgeball. Today is the anniversary, right? That's the supposed anniversary of when they defeated Globo Gym in the
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nobody
It
needs
is.
me.
It is.
ESPN ain't the Ocho.
That's right.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
I think one of my favorite gags in it towards the end is when they're when he's talking to the gawky guy and he's like, what happened to Steve the Pirate? He's like, wait, a pirate on this team? Steve the Pirate, arg, Steve the Pirate? And he's like, oh, what are you talking about?
And then he shows up in jeans and a t-shirt, and he's like, "Hey, it's Steve the Pirate."
Alan Tudyk, the man, the myth, the legend. Ken, it is back to you.
All right, so once again, I don't think my TV show's gonna get picked, so I've got to go into the movie. Talk about rewatchability. Talking about a movie that broke box office records.
Oh, you bastard!
A movie
So you're
that
taking
I
Avatar.
love, and every time it comes on, you gotta watch it.
Avatar.
You've got some great performances from the lead actors in there. I am going to take Batman: The Dark Knight for one of my movies, one of the greatest movies, one of the best comic book movies of all time.
I'll say this about that. It's a great movie, but you're missing the context of Batman Begins. So if you don't take Batman Begins and I guess finish off the trilogy, there's some questions there. There's some questions there.
Don't particularly care because I think that if you're watching The Dark Knight, you probably have already watched Batman Begins. And if you haven't already watched Batman Begins, you should probably get your shit together and watch it.
I won't lie. Batman Begins is the last one I watched in the trilogy. I saw The Dark Knight, and I really don't think there are that many connections to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
There are pretty much none, but I'm trying to lampoon Ken's pick here.
Yeah, how dare you live?
I get that.
I mean, Heath Ledger obviously with a mammoth performance in his role as the Joker. You've got great action. You've got a little bit of comedy in there, and you've got Batman. I mean, what's not to love? I'm sorry, but I've got a good drama.
Did you say what's not to love?
Yeah, what's not to love?
Oh boy,
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, stop it! She's like a fifth character on the list. Like, come
wait,
on.
I thought that was Katie Holmes. She wasn't in this. That guy in the hairpiece, that was Bruce Willis the whole time.
Maggie Gyllenhaal looks like upside down face from Family Guy. She ruins fucking every scene she's in. Every single scene.
This isn't a hating Maggie Gyllenhaal podcast.
Well, it can be. We can turn it into that.
Whatever.
All right, I got back-to-back picks here. I'm worried. So Step Brothers and Anchorman were my top two. I was really hoping to get one of those. I like other comedies, but I also feel like I can wait on some more shows here because I've got three already. So I'm going to take, for me, this movie is my Godfather. This is the movie that I think everyone should look at as the best crime mob movie of all time. Give me Goodfellas. Goodfellas to me is the most rewatchable of any of those crime and mob movies. It's so good. It's so much funnier than all of those movies. Every time Goodfellas is on, I get Shawshanked by it. I'm sure someone's going to take that at some point. But to me, Goodfellas is the movie. It's my Godfather. That's the movie that when it's on, I'm watching it every single time. I fucking love that movie.
Goodfellas, it's really good. I mean, have you ever watched Bronx Tale too? Like, they're super comparable, I think, in like the level of like crime and mob and like characters.
Bronx Tale's good, but it's not Goodfellas. Let's not pretend it's Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I also like a Bronx Tale. Like, it's a really good. I think it's a 1-2 for me for like those like that era of mob movies. Personally, hot take. I don't love The Godfather. I've seen it a couple times.
It's okay with me. I haven't seen it, so it doesn't bother me.
My opinion. Was it Marlon Brando? That's his name, right? I'm like terrible at names.
Marlon Brando, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that he's terrible and he had to have like earpieces in to like feed him lines and shit. Like, he was terrible to work on set with. He was a terrible guy to begin with. So like, count me out on Godfather. But I'm in on Goodfellas. I really like Goodfellas a lot.
it's on my short list. If I'm just making like my top 5 movies of all time, Goodfellas is on it. And I think it's like, if you think about those other crime and mob movies, like Casino and movies like that, Goodfellas is way more rewatchable than any of them. It just is.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
give it to me.
And you're getting a nice audience boost with some of the older audience members who are going to want to watch Goodfellas. So you're tagging along some of those.
And if you want to get real artsy fartsy about it, the one shot of them going down the stairs and through the restaurant is like what they show you in film class. Like that's
amazing.
It's what they show you. That's the one shot they show you. So give me Goodfellas. Let me start the 5th round here with another movie that I think is going to sort of fill a little bit of a comedy void, a little bit of an action void that I don't have yet. Ken got a good comic book movie one. I'm going to take Guardians of the Galaxy here. It's one of the few MCU movies you can watch without context. You don't need to see any other movies. As much as I love Infinity War, Endgame, you need to see so many movies to understand what's going on there. Guardians of the Galaxy it is what it is. It's a new age Star Wars movie with more comedy, just as much action. For me, it's the best. Well, I don't want to say it's the best Marvel movie, but
it's the best.
Probably is.
It's the best.
Like if you had to watch one movie and say, because if you had to have someone watch Endgame or Infinity War, you'd have to explain so much stuff. If you just said, "Here, watch Guardians of the Galaxy," you wouldn't have to explain anything. So give me Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's for sure the best origin movie in Marvel.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was also like a surprise out of nowhere because I had zero expectations. I had no idea what that movie was when it came out. And when it comes out, you're like, holy shit. Like, this is such a good movie. Like, throw aside superheroes. Like, just a really good, fun, like, movie you can take the kids to watch. A little inappropriate at times, but you can take the kids to watch. I absolutely love that pick. That was number 2 on my comic book movie. So, good pick, Mac.
Thank you.
It's a good pick. So, Ken, it is back to you.
Oh, holy hell. All right. So this is a toughie for me because there's a lot of like crowd pleasers on the list still. There's a lot of like really wildly successful shows and wildly successful movies on the list, obviously. I think that I'm gonna deter my attention to try to broaden my audience a little bit on my streaming service. And I'm going to take one of the most successful child's TV shows of all time. I'm going to take Sesame Street. I'm taking Sesame Street because you want to have a show on your streaming service that kids are going to watch. You want to be able to pull in that audience. You want parents to be okay with paying money for your streaming service. So, you could throw on some Sesame Street. They've been around for about 40 years. So you want to talk about content. You're getting content. Some of the most iconic characters in Elmo and Big Bird and, the Count. Also, sidebar, love Dave Chappelle's joke about Sesame Street, about Snuffy being a junkie and the Count being a pimp. But give me Sesame Street. I know it's probably on nobody's list, but I really wanted to diversify my streaming service and bring kids in. So, Sesame Street.
Don't leave autoplay on because if you run out of episodes, that kid's watching South Park or The Sopranos afterwards.
Hell yeah. Teaching some stuff. That's my childhood right there. So
I don't hate the pick. It was not on my radar at all.
Neither was.
It's a weird pick. But I do love Sesame Street. I'll
Could
say
have left
that.
that one for round 12, Ken. I don't think that was anybody's list.
I think that was like 105 on my list.
I figured like people were trying to like
round 90.
well, like how are you not trying to sell the parents? Like, come on, everyone's got kids.
I understand I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I understand the sentiment. I do.
I'm not there with you.
It's fine.
David,
One of my TV shows.
Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Man, it's starting to get real tough here. All right. I think what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna save TV again.
Oh wow.
I'm not gonna go director or actor yet. That's insane. That's like taking a kicker in round 2. I am going to take a movie. I think I'm gonna take Jaws. I'm gonna take Jaws here because I want a horror to add to my platform, And this is a movie that no matter how old you are, you can watch it and enjoy it as far as when you get into horror genres. Obviously, 8-year-olds aren't going to watch it, but when you get to like the 13, 14-year-olds, even though like everything is still kind of a little wonky, that, you know, Bruce is obviously a big machine. Like it's not like now, but it's still the music, the build up, even when you watch it, it still does the job. And everyone from the 80s, the 70s through now that watches horror movies loves it. So I'm going to take Jaws.
It's a good pick.
Quick sidebar about Jaws. So I went to Universal Studios as a child, and there's a Jaws ride on there. And my mom lied to me. I was like 7 or 8 years old, and she was like, "Let's go on this boat ride." Little did I know, it was the fucking Jaws ride. And they shake the boat. There's fucking fire and explosions everywhere. There's a big fucking shark that comes out. I'm scarred for life thanks to my mom. Thanks, Mom, for putting me on the Jaws ride when I was a kid. So, just a quick sidebar. Jaws.
You should have told her about Sesame Street.
Yeah, come on, Mom, bring me the Sesame Street ride, not fucking Jaws.
I don't want Jaws.
Yeah, I can't find issue with a Jaws pick. It's
No?
just one of those movies that everyone likes, and it has possibly the greatest monologue in cinema history, and it's just got the two notes, dun dun dun, like it's iconic. So
It's a great pick. It's a great pick. Can never fault Jaws. Can never fault it. So I'm running out of TV shows. I only have 2 left. I got to pick. Actually, everybody only has 2 left they can pick. But anyway, this is tough. I got a lot of good shows left on my board here. Only got 1 drama, so maybe I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to go either for content or do I want to, I'll start with my definite pick first. So I'm gonna go with kind of in the same vein as Ken. You want something for the kids to watch, but I don't want 80 seasons of Sesame Street for the movie. I am going to take Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with my next one.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
It's something I think everybody can enjoy. It's for everybody of all ages. Kids can love it. Adults love it. Everybody can love it. It's got a great message, a timeless message. And especially with the Miles Morales video game coming out, I feel like there has to be a movie live action with Miles Morales at some point. They kind of tease that in Homecoming. So, I mean, I don't see how I can't go with Miles Morales here. I got to go with Spider-Verse.
The artwork on Into the Spider-Verse is some of the best artwork I think I've ever seen in any animated movie ever. The voice acting work. I mean, you got fucking Nicolas Cage in there, like doing, Spider-Man Noir. I personally love that movie. It's a top 3 superhero movie for me of all time. Even after I think I talked with Mac and Goo a little bit about it when it came out, and I remember them being like, I was like, I really love this movie. It's probably my number 1. And recency bias might have put it at number 1, but it's definitely like maybe 2 or 3 at this point still after all the time. So that's a great pick, and kids love that movie, adults love that movie. I like that pick.
So for my second pick, kicking off the 6th round, I am going to go with a TV show, but which one? I'm kind of bouncing between a few of them here. A couple of comedies, a drama that I really like. Actually, a couple of dramas that, well, not like as I've seen, but dramas that people generally like. I am going to go with, and honestly, it's sad that I haven't seen this show, but because I should have, because I love the companion piece. But if I'm taking Breaking Bad, I got to take Better Call Saul. So I'm going to have both of them on my platform. So if you watch Breaking Bad, you know what? You don't have to go somewhere else to watch Better Call Saul. You can just watch it right afterwards. So I got Breaking Bad, got Better Call Saul, got the whole market corner. I've seen some people say Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. I can't fathom that being a possibility.
I'm up there with it. I'm almost. It's close. It really depends on the last season. If the last season sticks the landing, it may be better than Breaking Bad. It's really fucking close for me. Really close.
Well, now you can watch it on Netflix. So
This last season of Better Call Saul was insane. It was so good.
It was unreal. It's one of the better seasons of television I've ever watched. Like every note, there was no wasted episode. Just like Breaking Bad, no wasted time. I don't know. I love Better Call Saul.
all I hear are the subscriber dollars pouring into my bank.
I'm still behind on Better Call Saul. I don't know what's preventing me from watching it. I got to catch up, but I just can't. The stakes aren't as high as Breaking Bad, so I can't imagine that it approaches Breaking Bad level, but I guess I'll find out.
You got to get into it. You got to get all the way.
I personally don't think it reaches Breaking Bad, but I still think it's an extremely good TV show.
Well, Dave, it is back to you. You have 2 TV shows and 3 movies left to draft. Actually, everybody does, except for me.
All right. Let's see. You got the key to this streaming service thing. You got to try to diversify everything with
Yep.
all sorts of different.
Gotta have something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm struggling with here. I'm gonna take a movie that I think I don't know how rewatchable it is to everybody, but I think it's one of the greatest movies of its genre of all time. I'm gonna take Die Hard.
Damn.
All right.
I'm gonna take Die Hard because I think that if you want to watch an action movie, I think this is one of the premier choices you want to watch. It still holds up no matter what, and plus, every time someone sees it, they can have a debate whether it's a Christmas movie or not.
I was
That
just
brings
gonna
in more
ask you,
streamer dollars.
is it a Christmas movie or not?
Definitely.
It's a Christmas movie because I can watch it whenever I want.
Yeah. All right, fair.
I call it a Christmas movie.
But again, I think this is just one of the best action movies ever, and I personally just I love watching it. When it's on TV, I watch it, even if it's only a half an hour. I'm gonna watch it.
It's got one. As much as I'm not like the biggest Die Hard guy, because I've sort of just railed against it because everyone says it's a Christmas movie. Well, if it was a Christmas movie, why did it come out in June of 1987? But anyways, Hans Gruber, top 3-4 movie villain of all time. Everyone points to John McClane, one of the greatest protagonists of all time. And so when you have those two right there, you just can't deny its greatness. It's like sort of a lowest common denominator for action movies. This is it. It's like that, Aliens, Predator, like those are the three from the 80s that everyone looks to.
It's a great movie. It's a great
Mac,
movie.
would you say that you're not Die Hard for Die Hard?
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate that. Really fucking stuck the landing.
That joke died hard with a vengeance, let me tell you.
I think you scraped your leg on that landing.
Hey, listen, you know what?
Don't pull that in there,
Comedy.
you
I'm working on my comedy bits. A type 5 right there.
It's going well. It's really going well so far.
Well, now you got your next pick, Ken.
Oh man, so I'm coming back to the TV shows. I'm going to probably stick them out for a little bit. I want a show that has some rewatchability, some great comedy, great characters, and is critically acclaimed. I am going to take the show Community. Absolutely love the show Community. Some of the great, better characters with Troy and Abed. Joel McHale is really good in this show. You've got really great episodes, awesome comedy. I take it above a little bit over, based on the seasons that are out. I take it over like an Arrested Development or even Friends at this point, just because I think that it's a more recent show and that you can sit down and watch it. It's a little bit more relatable at this point. So taking Community.
I have recently gotten into Community, and as much as I say I don't really like it, I have found myself rewatching, going back through, and it's just so. The problem with Rick and Morty, as much as I love Rick and Morty, is you'll get like 2 or 3 unbelievable episodes, and then you'll get an episode that's like a total head scratcher. And Community has more of that. So the highs of Community are awesome, but then you get like 2 or 3 episodes in a row. You're like, I just don't care. I don't care about what's going on in here. So I sort of felt like that's where Harmon was workshopping how to make a show. And there's a reason, obviously, why they fired him after season 3. But season 4 was fucking terrible. I don't mind 5 and 6. 1, 2, and 3 are pretty good. I mean, it's on my list. I think it would have been there at the end too.
And the thing about Community that's and I watched, I think, the first 5 seasons. I don't think I finished the show, but I watched most of it in college, even the Yahoo screen season. Actually, maybe not the Yahoo screen season. Maybe I started that and didn't finish it. But it's amazing that I got as far as I did because I hate Joel McHale.
I fucking hate Joel McHale.
I don't like Joel
He's
McHale.
so unlikable. So
I don't
unlikable.
Gillian
That's
Jacobs.
why I think he's great in that show. He's supposed to be unlikable. That's why.
Well, it was the weird part about the show is when it starts, it's McHale and it's Jacobs, and those are their 2.
Yeah.
And then it evolves into something else where more of a Parks and Rec thing where the other characters are featured.
Yeah.
But what happens is like Gillian Jacobs' character gets so unlikable as much as McHale is in some respect that you're just like, we're wasting too much time on these characters. Troy leaves, and then it's just Abed. So it sort of becomes rudderless in a sense, sort of like The Office does when Michael Scott leaves. It's not as bad as when Michael Scott leaves, but I don't know. It's just, I think it has as much meh as it does good.
I think the only 3 characters I genuinely like on the show are Troy, Abed, and Annie. Like the only 3 characters.
Those are the 3. Yep.
Are those 3.
Although I love the Dean's love of Jeff. I do.
Oh yeah,
that.
that's
Dean
awesome.
Helton has an Oscar, as you said it was on your podcast, right, Ken?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Does
Jim
have an
Rand.
Oscar.
Anyway,
Wait, Wait, so Jake, so you're not gonna see that god awful movie with Kevin James as the Nazi and Jeff as the as Joel McHale as the dad? You're not gonna go see that?
I won't be seeing Paul Blart Community Cop. I won't be seeing.
Oh man, brutal.
But Mac, you're going to close out the 6th round and open the 7th round with your next.
So again, we got to sell this streaming service to everyone here. So I'm going to touch base on both of those there. I'm going to start with a television show that I think does a better job of Sesame Street at reaching kids and other general audiences. Give me SpongeBob SquarePants. That is so good for a 3-year-old, a 30-year-old. Everyone can watch SpongeBob and laugh. There's a million episodes of SpongeBob. You can put it on always. I think SpongeBob is criminally underrated. Like if you're talking about greatest shows of all time, everyone likes SpongeBob. There's no one that hates SpongeBob. Like you name South Park, Simpsons. There are people that don't like those shows. Everyone likes SpongeBob.
SpongeBob has a great presence in our society today as well because of memes. It's inspired so many great memes that like kids can instantaneously like recognize like some of the scenes as well. SpongeBob was number 2 on my list. I almost took SpongeBob over Sesame Street, but I took Sesame Street because I feel like Sesame Street is a little bit more like of a polished like classic show. But SpongeBob's been around since 1999, so it's not like
crazy.
It's not a new kid in the block. Like it's what 30 years old almost at this point, right? 20 years old. So
20.
I can't do math. So
well, you can read, but you're not so good with the math.
I'm not a math person, but I can read. I mean, SpongeBob. You got Squidward. You got Patrick. You got Gary, Sandy, fucking SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs. Like it's a great cast of characters.
So before you dive into your second pick, Mac, we're halfway through the draft right now. Here are the picks so far. Mac has The Office, Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Wire, Goodfellas, Guardians of the Galaxy, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Ken has South Park, The Sopranos, Step Brothers, The Dark Knight, Sesame Street, and Community. Dave has It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Seinfeld, Rick and Morty, Dodgeball, Jaws, and Die Hard. I have Parks and Rec, Breaking Bad, The Simpsons, Anchorman, Spider-Verse, and Better Call Saul. We, Ken, Mac, and I all have 4 TV shows and 2 movies. Dave has 3 TV shows and 3 movies. So without further ado, the 7th round will begin.
So again, trying to reach the widest audience here, and actually probably one of my top 6 or 7 favorite comedies of all time. I'm going to take Mean Girls. Mean Girls is so rewatchable, so quotable, and if you're trying to reach the woman audience, women love that movie. Mean Girls is to women what Step Brothers is to us. And that said, I fucking love Mean Girls almost as much as anyone. So give me Mean Girls.
It's a great
love Mean Girls. Love Mean Girls. I actually like, underrated character in Mean Girls is Tim Meadows in that movie. I fucking love Tim Meadows in that movie. What is he, the principal or a teacher? I forget.
Yeah, he's the principal.
He's so fucking funny in that movie. I love Tim Meadows to death. So, yeah, I love Mean Girls is a great pick. That's a great pick.
It's a great movie. Lacey Chabert, the future star of the Christian Mingle movie. If anybody's
Christian they're actually making a Christian Mingle movie?
They already made it. I watched it.
Oh,
nice. Wait. Did Christian Mingle like fund it, you mean? Hold on.
Or
is it like based on
website? No, it's like
a Hallmark movie or whatever channel she's always on.
Yeah, you have to tweet the link out to that trailer. I need to fucking see that.
Wow.
Lacey Chabert, also the original voice of Meg Griffin.
That is correct. That is correct. First season. Yep.
That's right. And then she decided not to do that anymore. And it's okay. That worked out. It worked out for everybody, I guess.
Bad choice. That's how Seth Green still does Robot Chicken. So
That's true. That's true. Ken, it is back to you, and I will look up that trailer in 1 second.
Much appreciated. All right. So I think that my last TV show is going to be on there because most of you guys hate my TV show, so it's fine. So I'm going to go with another movie that is a timeless classic that's going to bring in parents and kids alike. I am going to draft The Sandlot as my movie. It is a classic, time of coming of age movie. You got baseball, you got dogs, you've got crazy fun music, you've got throwing up from eating tobacco. I love The Sandlot. I don't know about you guys, but Sandlot was like one of my favorite movies growing up, and it made me want to play baseball. I'm not very good at baseball, but I wanted to play baseball. So here it is. Max laughing because he's watched me play softball before.
It's true. It's true. You're not the best out there. I'll say that.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Give it your all. You give it your all. That's all we can ask for.
That's right. Bunt singles, baby. I'm taking The Sandlot.
A lot of people love The Sandlot. A lot of people love those baseball movies. Well, it's
right.
classic. Kids
Sandlot's another movie I feel like anyone that's seen, they enjoy. And we all know someone that has dressed up as Squints for Halloween. So
absolutely,
everyone has seen it.
Indeed. Dave, is your pick now.
Okay, I'm actually gonna go back to the movies. I know I'm lagging behind here, and I have 2 more TV shows to fill. But I liked with Matt going Mean Girls. It jogged my memory. I'm gonna take Bridesmaids. I think that's the perfect one to kind of attract everyone to watch it. It's funny. You can watch it like on a Friday night and get a few laughs in, and it's inclusive for everybody. So I'm gonna go with Mean Girls. Melissa McCarthy is actually very funny in that movie, and honestly, the whole cast is very funny. I shouldn't even single out one person. It's just a funny movie overall.
Damn it, it's a good pick.
That's a good pick, yeah.
So that was on my short list. It was number 2 after Step Brothers, and then there's a third movie on my short list of comedies I'd pick. Bridesmaids. I mean, if you like SNL, if you like that style of humor, it's a lot of alumni from SNL, and it's just a really funny movie. It's a movie. It's got high rewatchability. I mean, come on, that fucking Mexican diarrhea scene. Come on.
Yes.
Like, you can't beat that. Like, you can't beat that shit. Literally beat that shit. But I love Bridesmaids so much.
It's a great.
The only thing, like if you weigh Bridesmaids versus Mean Girls, I think that Bridesmaids sort of hits that lull in the third act where Kristen Wiig's trying to figure it all out. But it's another one that everyone likes.
No,
Yeah, it's always like following some sort of stupid ass like E show. It's always on E. So it's like, you know, I always see it. I'm like, oh, Bridesmaids is on. I guess I'll throw that on. It's one of those movies in the background too. Mean Girls and Bridesmaids are 2 different types of comedies, but I think that they have the same type of like rewatchability, and an audience who know the movies are going to watch it. So
yeah, no, it's a good pick. That's a really good pick, really good value too. Getting that in the 7th round. Yeah, 7th round. It's a good pick.
it's a real Josh Allen pick right there.
Well, it was a good pick. So
By pick, did you mean interception?
Stephon Gilmore pick right there.
Hey, we'll see this year, motherfuckers. All right.
We will. All right, so I'm gonna go with back-to-back movies here, and I'm going with one that is a great movie, but it's also one that I just absolutely love. But I think a lot of people also like it too. And I know I might give Ken some PTSD, but I'm gonna go with Gladiator. I love Gladiator.
No.
You need a good old-fashioned R-rated action movie, and Die Hard would have been my pick here if Dave.
An epic.
Yes.
A movie that when you finish, you're like,
yeah,
holy shit.
And it's
Phoenix.
and I was listening to the Ringer did their rewatchables episode about Gladiator, and really the only nitpick I would say about the movie is that it does peak before the end, like the Gladiator fight before he fights Commodus. So like there's a little bit of a lull there, but all the Gladiator fights are just like you're locked on the screen. Gladiator is not really a background movie. Gladiator is you're fixed on it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like you are always locked in, and those Gladiator fights are unbelievable. And then the climax is obviously him killing Commodus, but the fight with the tigers and then the undefeated champion, he put the axe through his foot. Oh my God, it's so good. And of course, the Are You Not Entertained? And I read on IMDb, again, take this with a grain of salt, but I read the famous soliloquy he gives there when he says, I'll have my vengeance in this life or the next. He threw a hissy fit about that, and he said that the lines were trash, but he's the greatest fucking actor in the world, so he'll make it sound good. I was like, well,
no, I believe that. That's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Ridley Scott movie too. It's beautifully shot. I mean, obviously, you've listened to the podcast, so I have PTSD because one of my old roommates used to like fall asleep to it. But young Joaquin Phoenix is in it, which is actually pretty cool. I'm pretty sure he plays what it was. I forget the Emperor's name.
Yeah.
He's
incredible.
He's really good in that too. So that movie is just fucking awesome. It's better than 300 because it's not douchey Zack Snyder, and you get a great comedy.
Your roommate used to fall asleep to that movie?
So my roommate used to get blackout drunk, and just like pop it in the Xbox 360 in my junior year of college, and would watch it, fall asleep, and then I'd wake up in the morning and I'd hear it in the living room. And it would just be the fucking menu music over and over. And I'm
the only thing I'll say about Gladiator, as great as it is, I've probably seen it 3 or 4 times, and I don't know if I ever need to see it again, because you got to sit down, you got to watch it. You got to pay attention to it.
You really got to watch. It's definitely like a movie I feel everyone should watch, but it's like one of those movies again where it's like The Green Mile, where it's like you watch it like 2 or 3 times, you cry your eyes out, you enjoy it, and then you're like, I experienced that. And then maybe not watch it again for a very long time until you want to, have someone else experience it with you.
That's fair. That's fine. I get that. So I'll kick off the 8th round, and I'm going to go back to comedies here. It was the second comedy on my board, actually third after Step Brothers and Anchorman. I'm going to go with Superbad. I'm going to take Superbad. It is,
That's a good one.
a real classic.
Yeah, that's
I think
a great one.
everybody loves
I'm
it.
disappointed I overlooked
People don't
that.
forget.
That's right. It's got, and also I wasn't big, and I've told Dave this. I'm not like big on that era Seth Rogen. I've liked him more recently. But I love him in this movie. He's great. Bill Hader's great. Obviously Emma Stone, Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, McLovin over there. They're all fantastic. And I saw this in theaters when I was like 13 years old. Definitely not old enough to see it in theaters. But shout out
Very
to
appropriate.
Danny for taking me there. But yeah, so I got to go with Superbad. It's a timeless comedy, and that gives me Superbad and Anchorman, kind of more for the adults, and well, comedy-wise. Gladiator more for action. Spider-Verse something for the kids. So I have one movie left, one TV show left, and David is back to you.
Honestly, Superbad, is there a better, like, kind of lower important characters as far as Bill Hader and Seth Rogen, like, as cops? That was so perfectly cast.
No,
That was just so
so
incredible.
Bill
Seth
Hader-
Rogen trying to run down the kid, he runs like half a block and he throws up.
So fast.
Keeps the
Best
fast
kid alive.
alive.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that movie and Forgetting Sarah Marshall come out around the same time, and I feel like those movies are both like really fucking good. And
Well, just the whole thing of like being underage and trying to acquire alcohol was something everyone experienced. So
super
that's
relatable.
super relatable. And like, Jonah Hill, like that character makes me laugh in every single scene of that movie. When he takes the money from Jules, the funny thing about my back is it's located on my cock. Like, what? No, I can get you some Kyle's Killer Lemonade.
Oh yeah, I love Superbad. It's a good one. I actually haven't seen it in full, like unedited in a while. I've seen it on TV.
McLovin, you sound like a fucking Irish R&B singer.
How old does he say he is on the license?
Like 24. Yeah, it's 24. Everyone's gonna say they're 21 if it's a fake ID.
Yeah. That's right. And I always get that movie transposed with Juno, because Dwight plays the gas station attendant or whatever in Juno, and he says that's one doodle that can't be undid. Home skill. All of those era Superbad's definitely.
It's whatever. It's like 8% of kids have it. It's whatever.
Oh my god! But Dave, it is back to you. You need one more movie and 2 more TV shows, and of course, your director and actor.
All right. I think I'm gonna wrap up my movies here because I just found a good option here. I don't really have anything for kids yet, so I'm gonna take Toy Story, the first one.
Great
Toy Story.
pick. It's on the
pick.
list. It's
I'm
on
gonna
the
try to
list.
attract parents, try to attract some younger audience.
Great
I'm
pick.
gonna take Toy Story because I think personally it is the best original for Pixar. I think that's their best one.
Well,
Second.
if you're, it's like Up's my favorite Pixar movie, but
Wow.
as far as like a streaming service movie goes, like you don't want to put that on and fucking cry all the time. So Toy Story is a movie everyone can watch together and have a great time. I don't want to watch Up every day.
And
Right.
also,
It's depressing at the beginning.
I
Yeah.
feel like we're all really missing the point here. Is that Toy Story is definitely the second best Pixar movie of all time, but number one is definitely Bugs Life. I mean, come on, like fuck it.
Oh, Jesus.
the good dinosaur, you obviously.
Oh, no, no, fuck
Are we
that.
including Cars? Are we including the whole trilogy of Cars?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Does planes count?
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
planes-
Jesus.
I wish it was playing with a Z.
It is a good point though about Toy Story is that it's like the only, and I guess it's a combined Disney and Pixar, but like it doesn't start or really include a major death in the movie Toy Story. Like I love Finding Nemo, but it starts off very dark, and so does Up, obviously, and a lot of these movies, and of course we know Disney's history with just absolutely obliterating our emotions to start the movie, but Toy Story is one of those rare occasions where you can kind of just turn your mind off, and if you're a kid, you're an adult, whatever, it's a classic. It always will be.
Love Toy Story. Great pick.
It's a good pick. Very good pick.
Ken's a hard act to follow.
Oh, I think it is. All right, I think I'm gonna round off my TV shows. I'm gonna take my final TV show. I don't feel like I need any more dramas. I have The Sopranos. I don't really need a lot of dramas. Dramas aren't rewatchable. I've got The Sopranos, which is like, one of the highest rated dramas of all time. So I'm going to take one of my favorite comedies in which a TV series that I think is incredibly rewatchable. I think is hilarious and perfectly casted. I'm going to take New Girl. I fucking love New Girl. I think that all the characters in New Girl are perfect. I think that, even the last season doesn't screw the pooch, and you really have like a good season finale there. Nick Miller, Nick Miller is like one of my favorite characters in TV history. Jessica Day is like such a an interesting character because she's so self-sabotaging and also like adorable because Zoe Deschanel is like, a total babe. But I'm gonna take New Girl. I've rewatched New Girl 3 or 4 times already, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, I started New Girl. I never really got into it. I do like Jake Johnson a lot, but I don't know. I just never really could get into it.
I didn't think I liked it. I didn't think I was gonna like New Girl, and then I ended up like sitting through the first season, and I like didn't stop, and then I rewatched it like 3 separate times. It's awesome. It's such a good show.
Schmidt really gets me. He just makes me laugh, but I sort of stopped watching for no real good reason. I don't dislike the show. It's just, I just stopped watching, and so it's a good show. It is.
You gotta rewatch. You gotta finish it up. It's so good. It's on Netflix. You gotta do it.
I will say, my friends and I have played True American though.
Oh, fuck yeah. I literally literally last night I saw someone tweeted out the rules for True American, and I sent it to my fiance, my future wife, my wife, that we're going to have to play over summer vacation as we're not teaching children for the rest of the summer. So we can get real drunk real good. So I'm into it.
It's a fun game. We played it one time in my friend's apartment while she still had her Christmas tree up, and many people fell into it. So
fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
It's a fun time. So, Mac, you'll close out the 8th round and begin the 9th round.
So I really would love a nice segue there from my wife into Borat. And as much as I love Borat, I can't pretend it's super rewatchable. So I'm gonna pass on Borat. I fucking love that movie. I'm gonna pass for now. I got my kids' TV show at SpongeBob SquarePants. Give me my kids' movie, The Lion King. The Lion King is such a good movie for kids to sort of learn about emotions and death and like shit happens. And also it's a blast. It's a great journey. Timon and Pumbaa. That to me was my favorite movie forever. A couple have surpassed it since. But I mean, The Lion King is so good. So good. And sort of like Toy Story. It's like sort of in that same ilk. It's just one that whenever it's on, you can sit down and watch. And of course, Mufasa's death is a low, but you got to love The Lion King.
Mac,
I was going to ask, are you taking the animated version or the CGI garbage?
I'll take the non-Beyonce version, please.
All right, perfect.
Give me the animated.
Just want to make sure.
Mac, is it you or Goo that says that Matthew Broderick sold his soul and didn't do anything else with the soul after Ferris Bueller?
That was Goo, and then he talked about, I guess, Matthew Broderick like fucking hit and killed someone in Ireland or Britain in like 1991.
Yeah,
that is sort of sucked the soul out of his body.
And then he married her. So,
hey, you know what? Sarah Jessica Parker didn't hurt anybody.
And Ken is taking Sex in the City next.
I thought about it. My TV shows are out, baby.
All right, Mac, you got the first pick of the 9th round. You have one movie and one TV show left.
So this is really tough because I feel like all of the streaming services have a good documentary or two on there, and I really, really would like to get a documentary in there. But I just can't pass up my favorite movie of all time. Give me Inception to close out my movies. I think as a movie, it's a good conversation piece in general. Christopher Nolan has never made a bad movie. He's made okay movies. Inception to me is like just the pinnacle. It's a movie that when I watch, I'm just at the end, I'm like sort of like Gladiator in that sense. It's not super rewatchable, but when you do watch it, you've had an experience. And it introduced so many things visually that I had never seen before in cinema. Just the idea of Inception is fucking awesome. The cast is unbelievable. You have DiCaprio, you have Tom Hardy, you have Juno, what's her face there, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Like it's just so good on every level. Anything that a film could do well, Inception does well. So give me Inception.
I believe her name is Kitty Pryde.
Damn, that's a fucking cold ass reference right there. Let me tell you.
Hey, she helped save the world.
Goddamn right she did.
She sure did. Unless you watched the Rogue cut and then she died. But
unless you play The Last of Us, and then she also doesn't help save the world. But that's a different story as well.
That is true. Gets a good promo to The Last of Us 2, which comes out in like 3 hours, right? 2
I
hours.
can't fucking wait.
Is this tonight? It comes out?
It comes out at midnight. Let's fucking go. So excited.
So that is your 9th pick. So Ken, it is back to you.
All right. So
You got movies and your director.
I know I'm torn here. I don't think my director's going to get taken. I don't think my actor's going to get taken. So I'm pretty torn here between a classic comedy that I like and a classic like just straight up good movie that I really like. I think I'm going to go with just the classic comedy that I really love. I am going to take a movie that really inspired me to watch a lot of different types of comedies. I think that a lot of people would like this movie, and if you haven't seen this movie, you really should. I'm going to take Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein. Young Frankenstein for me was a movie that was a gateway to a lot of different comedies. It's pretty wholesome, and it has a lot of adult jokes. Like kids can watch it, and it's not really gonna break the bank on. It's not Blazing Saddles. It doesn't have like gratuitous swears and things like that. But Young Frankenstein for me, I remember just quoting. It's not pronounced Igor. What is it? Igor. It's pronounced Igor. Like things like that. Like just like all the stuff that comes in with Young Frankenstein. And Mel Brooks is a comedy genius. And I feel like if you want to have this lasting legacy of a streaming service, you really have to have some of the classic comedies on there. And Young Frankenstein's probably, if not my favorite, it's a top 3 classic comedy of all time.
I will say it might not have been on my list, but I do love Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's one of the, to your point, Ken, it's one of those movies that a 10-year-old kid can watch and laugh at certain jokes, and then the 30-year-old watching with them is laughing at other stuff. And so when the 10-year-old inevitably rewatches it, it's a different experience. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, that was me every time. My mom showed me Young Frankenstein as a kid, and then I rewatched it as like a 17-year-old, then as a 30-year-old. You know what I mean? Like you rewatch it throughout the ages, and you really get different jokes at different times. And I really appreciate that. Mel Brooks is like a legend in comedy movies. So Young Frankenstein's like it's up there. It's a top 3 comedy for me of all time.
Sorry, I got distracted. Guardians 2 is on. It's the come a little bit closer scene.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Great.
pretty okay.
Great part.
I mean, it's just finishes the story in the first one, so I don't know how you can't love it.
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that right now. The second one is-
David, it's back to you. You only have TV shows left, actually, Dave, and you're a director.
Okay, so I actually have a question. How many people have TV shows left? Anyone still have TV shows?
I have one spot left.
Mac and I both have a spot left.
Okay. Damn. Okay. Oof. I'm torn. All right. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go get my drama now. I was thinking about it, and although I haven't seen the show, I know everyone really loved it for a while. I'm gonna take Game of Thrones.
Wow.
I'm gonna put that on my streaming service.
Great pick this late. I've
gonna
seen
get-
4
I-
episodes. I fucking hate the show, but I can admit it's a great pick this late.
Yeah.
I gotta get something to draw people in as a drama, and I think that's the best one left on the board.
Yep.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I'm sorry, but if you want to talk about like greatest screw in the pooches of all time, Dexter's number 2, and I said that. Game of Thrones literally infuriates me because they had everything set up for them. They fucking ruined it. So I'm sorry, I can't be on board with Game of Thrones.
Well, to your point, I obviously didn't watch along with everyone during Game of Thrones, but Dexter was like a slow demise with a terrible ending. It seemed like Game of Thrones was like 7 great seasons, and then season 8 was like, what the fuck just happened?
It was literally the
But that
worst
said,
fucking run.
that's still 7 really good seasons according to everyone else.
Right.
But it almost suffers from The Walking Dead, where like you get like 4 or 5 really good seasons, and then it just fucking like it just shits itself, and the writing becomes terrible, the music's terrible, the acting's terrible, like everything in that last season and a half, 2 seasons is fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but The Walking Dead was like every episode was the same. 39 minutes of like, oh, we got to go here, we got to avoid this, and then 3 minutes of like, oh, what we tried to avoid is here right now, and we got to deal with it.
The Walking
The
Dead
same episode every time.
The Walking Dead has records for being one of the most, if not the most watched cable TV show of all time.
I watched The Walking Dead for a couple seasons, and I didn't really like it. I don't like Game of Thrones, but I'll tell you, Game of Thrones has to be way better than The Walking Dead.
Oh, it's definitely better than Walking Dead. I'm not trying to throw them in the same level, but
Okay.
fuck
All right.
those last 2 seasons. It is the worst disappointment of my life. I'm sorry to shit on this pick right now, but I'm very passionate about how badly they ruined my favorite TV show.
Honestly, I don't mind it. I'm just trying to get the large majority of people, and I think those first 7 seasons will entice people enough.
Oh, it's a great pick. Yeah, we're drafting for a reason.
It's
It's
a
a good
great pick.
pick.
I'm just angry. I'm still.
Sort of the same reason I took The Wire. You took it here. It had to be done. Someone had to take it.
Exactly.
If no one took that, the first tweet you would have got was, "Where's Game of Thrones?"
in the fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
True. So I'm going to close out the 9th round with it might be a little bit of an off the board type pick. I'm not going to lie, but there is a lot of content associated with it. I'm going to take Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I was thinking about taking that.
Smart.
On
Now.
my short list.
Smart.
It was on my short list, and I decided not to take it. That's a great pick.
Got
Yeah,
about,
that's
45 years worth of content there?
That's also going to attract everyone from all generations.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So-
a great pick.
SNL's got to be.
That is a great pick. And if you could somehow finagle the best ofs as their own category on there, that's even better.
I'd be into that. And I think the reason I got back into Hulu was to watch the Celebrity Jeopardies with Will Ferrell and Sean Connery and all those
Funny.
people. Oh my God, dude, that's
Funny hat.
me. I absolutely love it. And you know what? I am going to I'm gonna break the director bubble here. I'm gonna take my director of my movie.
Don't you take
And-
mine.
Dave knows who I'm gonna take because I told him last night that I was afraid this guy would be the first one off the board. I'm going Taika Waititi. He's my first pick.
It's a great pick.
That's
That's a great pick.
He's gonna direct my movie. My stars,
Great pick.
but it doesn't matter because Taika Waititi is gonna make it. Absolutely.
So Taika Waititi and hopefully the guy that I take have something in common where they have made really, really, really low budget movies that have been wildly successful. Really, really big budget movies that have been wildly successful and everything in between. And of course, Taika has a little bit to do with What We Do in the Shadows, a television show.
Right.
He is just a comedic genius that I think, it's relatively young in his career, but he's sort of doing things that no one's ever done before. And I mean, he could do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and I'm going to watch it. Doesn't matter if it's a YouTube channel, an actual show, a movie. I am all in Taika Waititi. It's a great pick.
Also, you were talking about Michael Bay, right?
Yes, of course. Of course. Ever seen The Rock? Come on.
If anybody takes Michael Bay, I'm fucking standing up and leaving.
Transformers. Never heard of it.
Gross.
So, Dave, you still have a TV show, your director, and your actor.
All right. I am not really sure where to go with the TV show. I have a bunch of different thoughts in my head on that. So I'm gonna go over to the directors here, and I know it's kind of a little different, but I'm gonna take Christopher Nolan. I know he's not for everybody, but he hasn't made bad movies, and he usually does. So I'm relying on him to continuously pump out one every year or 2 or 3 years or whatever, pump out that really good movie, even if we have to spend a little bit more. So I'm gonna take Nolan.
I fucking love Christopher Nolan, and I think Interstellar is his worst movie, and it's still a pretty decent movie. He thinks about things in a different way. The way he manipulates time in his films is unlike any other. I think he's probably running out of ideas of how to manipulate time, but
Yeah.
it hasn't happened yet. So, I mean, like Tenet, I feel like it's going to be fucking unbelievable, and it's yet another way he's manipulated it. So, it's a great pick.
Murph.
And Tenet, I'm very excited because I love John David Washington a lot. I think
Yep.
he's a star.
Yeah. I was just about to do a really terrible impression. Here we go. Ready? Murph. That's all you got. That's all I got.
You called it. Pretty bad impression.
It is pretty crazy to think, in retrospect, that Christopher Nolan directed a Batman trilogy. It really is kind of
Weird, yeah.
It was
Very
really
weird.
He fucking crushed it. It was super dark and gritty, so I'm into that. But
and then he ruined DC movies for the next decade.
facts. I will say this about if Interstellar is his bottom, like if it's his garbage, like the soundtrack and the music to Interstellar is unreal.
Well, that's what I mean. Like Interstellar is still a pretty good movie. I don't love the movie, but the first time I saw Interstellar, I was gripped.
Oh, for fucking
The ending's sort of weird, and there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense.
yeah,
but that
you're
movie's still good.
Movie theater, and you're like RIP movie theaters right now. But you're sitting in the movie theater, and you're just like fucking lights out, listen to that soundtrack, like shake the seats, like holy shit, like.
And the problem Interstellar had was it was following up Inception as well, so it's kind of destined
It
to.
can't be
fail.
Inception. Inception's a fucking classically good movie. It's so fucking good.
So, Ken, it's back to you. You still have a movie, a director, and an actor.
This makes it very challenging for me once again, just because I feel like my director is going to be there, but I don't know. I feel like I have some like really great ideas from a director, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to take my movie. My last movie is going to be Jurassic Park. taking
Good
a
pick.
classic, good sweet dino pick right here. Jurassic Park, you got Jeff Goldblum, you got dinosaurs, you got fucking blood and guts and gore, and the whole family can watch Jurassic Park. And it's a horror movie, it's an action movie. Jurassic Park.
Great pick.
I was
Great
hoping
pick.
I'd make it back.
Classic movie.
Not. You did not.
It was on my list, so good pick.
Classic.
Well,
Cable.
either that or I had another Spielberg movie, movie on my list. So
It's a great one. It's a good
that's
pick.
not the one I picked. I gotta pick the Jurassic Park. It's so good.
You said Fallen Kingdom, right?
No, the original one, not that fucking garbage.
You said The Lost World.
Stop! Oh, how dare you? How dare you, sir?
So who else needs the show?
So only you and Dave have shows left.
All right. I don't think Dave's going to take my show, so I'll take my actor and my director here back to back. So Nolan was number one on my board. Taika was right there too. I love Denis Villeneuve, Tarantino, Jordan Peele, but to me, and because of this combination, I'll just take them right in a row here. Ryan Coogler as director and Michael B. Jordan as my actor. They have made 3 movies together already: Fruitvale Station, Creed, and Black Panther, and all three are fucking phenomenal. So if you just put those two together, you're going to get an unbelievable movie. I don't know what they're making, but Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, and like I was sort of alluding to, Fruitvale Station, super low budget movie like Taika came from, and then he directed Black Panther, and both massive successes. So give me Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
It's a good combo right there.
Great combo.
They've proven they can do it. They sure have.
I love Michael B. Jordan. He was really good in Just Mercy too. He's very good in that.
Yeah, I think he's one of the few guys that can sort of run the gauntlet. Another actor, maybe he'll get taken, Michael Fassbender. He can play a super good guy and a super bad guy and pull it off. And not everyone can do that. So,
it takes a very special actor.
He's awesome. No, he's awesome. So Ken, it's back to you. You need your director and your actor.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, so I am going to take a director that might not be on anybody's list, but I don't particularly care because I love his acting direction. I think that he makes really fantastic fucking movies, and I think that he would do justice to potentially the actor that I take. I'm going to take the director Edgar Wright.
Ooh, I love that pick.
good pick.
Edgar Wright,
Good pick.
Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. I think that he is one of the best directors for cinematography, for music direction. Scott Pilgrim is also another film that he directed, and I think that he's a really niche director, but I really love his direction. If you're gonna take Taika Waititi, you're gonna take the other kind of niche director. I felt like I had to take Edgar Wright as my pick there. So
Actually, it's not a bad comparison. Like Taika, he just has a way of making his movies fun, regardless of what the genre it is. Like even Baby Driver is not funny, but that movie's fun. That movie's a lot of fun.
it's a top 10 movie for me, of all time. And just because I watched the movie with full surround sound, the music, the sounds, the cuts, everything about it is just perfect. And I think that he has a great eye for cinematography and for music and for color. He's just a really good director, and I think that he's very underrated. And Shaun of the Dead's my favorite movie of all time, so that's another reason why I kind of pulled him into there. It was either him or another very big name director, and I decided to not go with that big name.
Well, you can name them because all 4 of us have directors now.
Oh, it's going to be Tarantino. So
yeah.
But he's also kind of a racist, so fuck him.
Three notes. My other directors were either Barry Jenkins or Jordan Peele. Those are my other 2.
Jordan Peele was my backup.
Hot Fuzz is, I think, my favorite comedy of all time, if not top 3. And then Edgar Wright, you're going to get a kick-ass soundtrack out of this movie, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think he's just one of the best complete directors in Hollywood at the moment. So
yeah, it's a great pick. The other guys on my list that we didn't name, I think you can have a lot of fun with the Russo brothers. I don't know if you would have been able to draft both of them.
Yeah, you could have taken both.
Bong Joon-ho has made 3 amazing movies already, and he's barely breached American cinema. And I also think Greta Gerwig is on the up and up. She's making some really good movies right now. So those are the people I considered.
All great picks. So, Dave, you still need a TV show and an actor.
All right. I think Mac is the only one that needs a TV show. So I'm going to hold off on the TV show, and I'm going to take my actor now. I'm going to take Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm going to take him. I think he's, if not the best actor, one of the best actors around. He can do any type of movie, and he goes perfect with Nolan as a high budget movie. Get people in the seats kind of movie. I considered other people, and I'll get into that more when you guys pick. But I'm gonna go DiCaprio here.
Just realized I need another movie.
Good pick. Good pick.
That's a great
Especially Nolan and DiCaprio, you're gonna end up with a fucking absolute great movie.
Oh, you're getting a thriller. You're getting fucking crazy shit going on. He brings up the best in DiCaprio for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, you kind of both you and Mac taking guys that have worked together before, so you're probably going to get something good out of that. I'm not sure where Ken's going, but he might do the same. So I don't know. So I got to take a movie and I got to take my actor. So I'll start with my actor because I know that is a definite once I write the name down. And this is only because this actor, I don't know if they've ever done anything. They've never turned in a bad performance, even if some of their movies have been polarizing. I'm going to go with Lupita Nyong'o. Always turns in a great performance.
Yeah, unbelievable.
She's a great actor, yeah.
Lupita, and I know Us was polarizing. I liked Us personally.
Well, she was the best part of it for sure.
The only thing everybody agreed on was that she was fantastic in it.
Yeah.
The talent that it takes for her to do her role is insane.
Yeah. So she's got an Oscar as well. So you're pairing Taika Waititi with Lupita Nyong'o. I don't see how you get a bad movie out of it. I don't know what it's about.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Movie out of it. So my last pick, I gotta pick a movie. I want something that's gonna be fun, something fun to watch. Although the movie I'm taking might not be fun to watch because I'm realizing now that it's pretty brutal to watch either one of them.
La vita è bella.
Yeah, it's not beautiful like that right there. Also not the Roberto Benigni Pinocchio movie either. I'm stuck between two movies. I love both of them. One is my second favorite movie of all time.
Space Jam?
Not Space Jam. Dave. Thank you, though.
I would have enjoyed that pick.
You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go with it. I'm taking A Few Good Men. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it's insanely rewatchable. I mean, I don't like Tom Cruise all that much, but he's incredible in the movie. Jack Nicholson's really good. Kevin Bacon, Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak. Fun fact about you. Have you all seen A Few Good Men?
Yeah.
I watched it in school like 15 times. It was one of those movies they always showed us.
Ken, you said you haven't?
I haven't, no.
So
you've never seen it?
No.
Wow.
Oh, put that at the top of the left. Yeah.
It's so
wow.
good. But do you know who was supposed to play Kevin Pollak's character? Jason Alexander.
Oh my god.
That would have oh my god.
And you can
Thank God
in his performance a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
That would have worked or not worked either way.
That would have been fucking weird as hell. Holy shit.
It would have been weird. But
Ken, I'll tell you this. I do not like Jack Nicholson at all.
Yeah.
A Few Good Men, he's fucking unbelievable in it. He plays that character as well as anyone could have played it, sort of like in The Shining, where I don't know if anyone could have done that better. And of course, the courtroom scene, you can't handle the truth. That's fucking iconic.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. All right.
Yeah.
So I've never seen it. Like, it's not a movie that was ever on my radar of movies I have to watch.
They showed us it in civics class or history class. If there was nothing to do, they'd put on A Few Good Men. So I saw it so many times just in school.
A Few Good
I think
Men.
I think you would love that movie. And as a teacher, you might be able to even show it to students.
All right, now I have to watch it this summer. That's a substitute plan right there, baby.
There you go.
I will say A Few Good Men, and Mac mentioned the courtroom scene, which is obviously the most famous scene in the movie. Although I will say that you're a lousy fucking softball player, Jack, is probably the weirdest lines in the movie. But that courtroom scene has 3 lines back to back to back that are insanely quotable. There's obviously that you can't handle the truth. There's you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. And then the third one obviously is the did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did. No,
So good.
But
It's
still
so
no.
good.
Oh my god, it's fantastic. I might actually go watch it.
Well, that's one of those movies like even spoiled. Like you'll watch it, and even when you get up to that point, you're still gonna be like, "Oh shit, this is amazing."
Yeah,
It's a great movie.
The
Great
courtroom
movie.
scene at the end, your eyes are just transfixed. You're not taking.
I think Jennifer Connelly's the female lawyer too, isn't she?
the Demi Moore.
Oh, Demi Moore. That's who it is. That's right.
Although,
That's right.
and before I know I'm taking up a lot of time with A Few Good Men, but probably my favorite line from the movie that I still quote to this day is when Tom Cruise is drunk and he's losing it on Demi Moore, and he goes, he uses the term galactically stupid. I use that term all the time. I just love when he says that 'cause it's so good. He's also a Red Sox fan too. But anyway, Dave, you need to pick your actor.
I already picked my actor. It's TV show.
You need to pick your TV show. Thank you.
Okay, so I've been doing a lot of thinking here, and I was between 2 shows, and they're both very different. But I ended up on this one. I'm going to take The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Great.
Oh, great pick. Yeah.
And I was debating it because I really have 4 comedies at this point, but the way I look at it is, each comedy is a little bit different. Seinfeld and Sunny are very similar, but each comedy is a little bit different. It speaks to maybe different audiences. Like Fresh Prince, if you're like 8 or 9, you can watch that show. It's there's nothing graphic or nudity or swearing or anything in it. So I figured that's a good pick. I was honestly, I don't think Mac will take this either way, but I was between that and Mad Men because I think Mad Men would speak to a lot of people too. But I think Fresh Prince is
Mad Men. I'm so happy you didn't take Mad Men.
I've never even seen it. I just know people enjoy it.
I don't give a lot of things chances. I gave it a chance, and by episode 7 in season 1, I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen in the show. Don Draper's a terrible person. You'll find out about his past. Things will unravel, and that's the show. That's what it was. Didn't even watch it, and that's what it was.
I've heard people talk about it that they love it, and then there's some people that just despise it.
It's one of those like writers shows where like people that make shows and movies love it, and there are a lot of common folk that love it, but it's like it's super uneventful, and you really have to buy into the characters. And for me, it was a slog.
No, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is a great pick. I mean, personally, for me, like there's that one scene, and you guys probably I've like tweeted it out a couple times now, and I can't not because like. I grew up without a dad. I had a single mom.
I was going to say, and Father's Day this weekend. What better time?
Yeah, I'm going to call my mom and let her know, like, thanks for being my dad. But just like that one scene where just like, Will Smith's dad leaves him and he's like talking about the film and he gives that, I don't fucking blah, blah, blah. I did this with that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then he just starts crying. He's like, why doesn't he want me, man? And it's like, holy fucking, I don't think I've ever cried more during a television show than that one scene in that TV show. So, I mean, Fresh Prince for me was an avenue and a gateway into like black families in a different way on television that wasn't the Jeffersons or something that is incredibly outdated. Like Will Smith did such a good job with that. So for me,
it was one of the first times they showed a wealthy black family on television as well. And there's a reason why J. Cole said first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil was a dad figure to a lot of people in the early 90s. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's really good pick.
That's a great pick.
It's a great pick. Great way to close it out on your end, Dave. Ken, you need to pick your actor.
All right, so my actor is actually going to be an interesting actor. One of my favorite films of last year she starred in. She was a fantastic actress in this, and she's a very versatile actress. I'm going to pick for my movie with Edgar Wright. I'm going to pick Scarlett Johansson. I think that Scarlett Johansson is incredibly talented and incredibly likable in every film that she's in. The Divorce Story or whatever it's called, I forget what it's called.
Marriage Story,
thank you. She was raw, and you could really see a lot of her acting skills on Perales there. But then you also get Jojo Rabbit. I personally love
Endgame. She had 3 of the biggest films of last year.
Yeah, she is a powerhouse actress right now. And I think she's versatile, and she does comedy. And I think that she would fit Edgar Wright's like weird comedy / action / like his style. And I think they would mesh really well. And plus, I mean, she's kind of a babe, so like
just a little bit.
Kind of a babe, so I'm in.
And going back to like what Max said, where Edgar Wright and Taika Waititi are kind of similar, and she worked already very well with Taika Waititi, so there's no reason why she couldn't do a great movie with Edgar Wright. And also, unlike really any of the other actors we've drafted so far, she's done a great streaming service movie already. So
she has. She definitely has. I had another actor in my queue here. I'm not going to say his name because I think there's other people still have to pick.
Nope,
but
nobody else. Mac has a TV show left to pick. So
my other actor was going to be Adam Driver. I think Adam Driver, I don't know if you watch John Oliver's show, but he fucking always sits there and calls him a meaty bird and all these other fun things. But Adam Driver became like, I fucking hated him in Girls, and I think Girls is
did you? I thought he was easily the best part of Girls.
So he's the best part of Girls, but there's no good part of Girls. That's my issue.
I don't agree. I actually thought the first couple of seasons of Girls was pretty good.
So self-loathing and so annoying. I don't know. I personally
aren't we all?
But it's true. But I hated him in that because I hated that show. But like throughout his acting career, I've really grown to like Adam Driver. And Black Klansman, like he really like slam dunked it for me, and I think he's a great actor. But Scarlett Johansson just like slightly takes out the cake for me there because I think she's more versatile for the style that I want for Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I think she fits Edgar Wright better. But Driver, we've seen everything from like if you think about him in Logan Lucky to Star Wars to Marriage Story, he's played almost every conceivable character you can think about. He's fucking unbelievable. He's so good.
I fucking hated his goofy ass, and now I'm like Team Driver now. Like, you know, lather me up and put it in me, you big goofy bird, you.
Well, quick note before Mac does the Mr. Irrelevant pick of the draft. My other two considerations for actors were Daniel Kaluuya and Amy Adams. Those are my other two.
Wait, the guy from what's that? Family? Yeah. No, what the fucking? No, I'm thinking of what's the stupid sitcom with Bob Saget, Dave Coulier.
Oh no, he's talking about Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, Daniel.
Oh, Jesus
I tried to
Christ.
find Dave Coulier.
Yeah, very similar actors.
Yeah, one of them is Taika Waititi.
I'll tell you what, Taika could probably make Dave Coulier super funny again.
Stop it! No, he's on Worst Cooks in America. Fuck you, it's terrible.
I had a really long list of actors just to see. You know, I didn't know how it was going to go.
Yeah.
I think The Rock would have been a good pick for anyone. Yeah. Tom Hardy. I mentioned Fassbender, Bradley Cooper, Ryan Reynolds. All of those guys can do everything. You could even go to your classic Christian Bale, Robert Downey Jr. There were so many actors to pair up with.
I almost picked Tom Cruise too, to be honest. Tom Cruise was on my short list of actors only because is it Edge of Tomorrow, the one where he dies constantly?
The movie that changed his name 3 times.
But like low key, have you watched that movie?
That movie's really good.
It's really good, and I feel like he's just an actor who goes all in.
He's great in that, but it's only because Blunt's there as Blunt's just as good, if not better, than him in that movie.
You're very, very true on that's true, but.
That was the issue with the second Sicario movie. No Blunt, and it didn't have that same gravity.
No, I know. But Tom Cruise did not make it, but he was definitely on my short list of like interesting actors that might pair well. But
is that a pun that he was on your short list?
He's short. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Mac, you have a TV show to close.
Yeah,
out.
Mr. Irrelevant here. So I wanted to take these earlier, but the way the draft was going, I just kind of let it slide. So I think I've already got one animated show, SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't have any really hero action type of show. I mean, The Wire a little bit. So I'm between X-Men the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series here. And I'm going to go with X-Men the Animated Series. I think the greatest theme song of all time. I love the X-Men. It, to me, as good as Batman the Animated Series is, it doesn't carry the story as well as X-Men does. It's much more coherent, easier to follow. So give me X-Men the Animated Series as it might be my favorite television show of all time. I'm not sure. It's hot. It's like you can't compare Curb Your Enthusiasm to X-Men. It's just not possible, but it's up there.
Hold on, you said X-Men has the best theme song, but DuckTales. I thought DuckTales had the best.
DuckTales is close.
Okay.
X-Men is better.
I'm showing off right now. If you're watching the live stream, I'm showing my Kevin Conroy autograph.
So why didn't you take the show? We just did a draft.
Because I'm sorry, but it's not marketable. Like, I don't know if you've watched them recently. Batman the Animated Series is nostalgic to me, and I fucking love it. But
it's like, point for X-Men.
But like, X-Men is worse. Are you kidding me? The guy who plays fucking Wolverine, it is so bad. And like,
yeah, but it's more accurate to the comic. We're just used to Hugh Jackman now.
Oh, it's definitely more accurate to the comic, but that doesn't make the comic good. I'm sorry, but I read.
All right, enough with you.
I have an entire tub of X-Men comic books under my bed. Don't get me started. I loved X-Men.
What else? What other type of magazines you got under your bed?
I got lotion there too, baby. Good stuff over there. Listen, I don't know. I take Batman over that all day just because. I mean, the theme song alone.
You never even mentioned it. At least I mentioned it.
It's not a streamable thing. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not.
I don't know about that. The whole generation that grew up on it.
Batman the Animated Series was on my short list of TV shows that were left. The 5 TV shows I had left on my list that I didn't end up taking. No, I'm not even kidding you, and I'm only saying this because it absolutely kills in ratings, and I'm not going to lie, I watch it too, is 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah, I never really considered a reality show.
I have 3 reality TV shows on my list, and I was afraid to take one because I was afraid people were going to fucking shit all over me for it.
Did you have Pawn Stars on there?
No.
Ken loves Chumley. That's all he ever talks about.
Me and Chumley are bros, bro.
Yeah, I saw a meme when Infinity War came out of Rick as Thanos, and now I just can't unsee that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So it was 90 Day Fiance, Mad Men, Batman the Animated Series, Veep, and The West Wing were the next 5 on my list.
Oh, all right.
Veep I had very high up.
That's another show that I've got to get into. I just got to watch. I got to suck it up and watch.
Yeah, go ahead.
I seriously considered taking I Think You Should Leave. So I think sketch comedy is on the up and up.
Yeah.
So good. And I think sort of like how you took SNL, I was kind of going down that path. I still feel like not enough people have seen it. So it was tough to take here. Again, Batman. I also considered taking The Boys, which was a Hulu show.
Yep.
It's so good, but one season. I don't know if everyone's seen it.
might
Boy
not
Meets World, I grew up on. So there were a couple of those shows.
And I'll
Yeah,
tell you right now, I very, very badly wanted to take Daredevil and revive it, but
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
unfortunately,
one of the best fight scenes of all television history. I'm sorry, that stair fight scene is fucking unreal.
Yep.
Prison Escape is also very good.
That is also really good. No, my short list, I had some lady pleasers out here that I didn't pick and I should have, but obviously I had Friends on my short list, but I was afraid to take Friends because like Friends is kind of like a hokey pick, if you will. I had Real Housewives of New York City on here.
Oh, that's your wife talking right there.
Yeah, I know. It's got huge viewership, so I was like, "Fuck it, why not take a Bravo show?" I also had Sex in the City on here, and a pick that I wanted to take over a couple of picks, but I didn't take, and I probably should have over Community. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I would have had Brooklyn Nine-Nine above it for sure.
I should have, but I went with my heart, not my gut, and that's that's part of it.
And jumping off your women shows, I think Broad City's fucking hysterical too.
Oh,
but
Broad City is
I don't think a
fucking
ton of people have seen that either.
No, it's so good. 6 seasons too. Like,
Is it up to 6? Damn.
It ended, so it's over. But I think it's either 5 or 6 at this point. So it had a good amount. Really, really good.
As far as just a few movies that I didn't get to take, Aliens, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Halloween, Scream, Silence of the Lambs, Pulp Fiction, Social Network, and Happy Gilmore, all on the short list. But
I considered taking all 3 original Star Wars movies, but I was worried if I took one, I wouldn't get the other 2, so I just avoided it altogether.
somebody would block you.
Yeah, another movie that I felt like is all audiences, the Lego Movie. I fucking love that movie. 5-year-olds can love it. 50-year-olds can love it. I considered that. I also considered 2 documentaries. Won't You Be My Neighbor? I think is just that's a real tearjerker. That's so good, so good. And then The King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. I think is another one that like it's just so emotion evoking. A couple of movies, Inglourious Bastards and Back to the Future. I also considered.
Classic.
Yeah, my movies, I had Beetlejuice was on my short list, Frozen, Finding Nemo, Ferris Bueller, Back to the Future as well. So had some good comedies on there. Beetlejuice, I will say this, Beetlejuice is probably one of my favorite comedies of all time. And that's just a personal thing. Like I grew up and I watched and I love Beetlejuice, but it's not for everybody for sure. Tim Burton's kind of a fucking weird guy. So also another director that didn't come up, interestingly enough. So
Not a Burton fan.
For a good reason. That's it.
that's all right. We're not 12-year-old girls shopping at Hot Topic. So
Dave, do you have any on your short list you want to shout out?
I had a few. I had Tropic Thunder. I had
A
Good
movie
Will
that
Hunting.
gets better every time we watch it.
Yeah, I had Good Will Hunting. I had Nice Guys with
Russell
what's
Crowe.
his name? Ryan.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, that
Ryan
reminds me.
Gosling.
I actually had the other guys on my list that I almost took as well.
I had the other guys.
Both on my podcast. It's fine. No big deal.
There was one TV show I forgot to mention. I mean, Family Guy. Obviously, we couldn't take him. I almost took Big Mouth. That was one I almost took. Because I know there's gonna be
I would like that. Yep.
Do love Big
Yeah.
Mouth. I do. So just to recap the teams before we close things out. So we'll start with Mac. Your streaming service will include The Office, Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Wire, Goodfellas, Guardians of the Galaxy, SpongeBob SquarePants, Mean Girls, The Lion King, 94, Inception. Your director's Ryan Coogler, your actor's Michael B. Jordan, and you also have X-Men, the animated series. Ken, your streaming service will be South Park, The Sopranos, Step Brothers, The Dark Knight, Sesame Street, Community, The Sandlot, New Girl, Young Frankenstein, Jurassic Park. Your director is Edgar Wright. Your actress, whatever, Scarlett Johansson. Dave, your streaming service. It's Always Sunny, Seinfeld, Rick and Morty, Dodgeball, Jaws, Die Hard, Bridesmaids, Toy Story, Game of Thrones. Director Christopher Nolan, actor Leonardo DiCaprio, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Finally, me, I have Parks and Rec, Breaking Bad, The Simpsons, Anchorman, Spider-Verse, Better Call Saul, Gladiator, Superbad, SNL, Taika Waititi is my director, Lupita Nyong'o is my actor, and A Few Good Men closes out my service. So I will make a graphic with all of the, graphics for each of them. and post a poll probably tomorrow, so people can go ahead and vote on them and see which one's the best. Emily, do you have a pick? Which one's your favorite? We have a live vote right now. Quick.
Come on.
I can't go quick.
It's got to be mine.
Mean Girls. Mean Girls.
You can never
No.
watch Parks and Rec ever.
I have Toy Story.
Shut up, Dave. Nobody
I
cares.
have Sesame Street.
Between,
Combo of
damn it. So she says between Mac and Dave.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Power bottoms down here. We did a nice job.
God damn it. I thought it was a power
Yep.
top.
Bridesmaids.
Which one do you like?
Probably Mean Girls.
Really quick, did anyone else come up with a name for their streaming service? Because I did.
I have Jake Flicks. That's mine.
I don't know, but he also has a horror movie. I don't like horror
That
movies.
is not a horror.
It's not a horror movie?
No.
Oh, just kidding.
I mean, my name for my streaming service, and I don't know if it's insensitive or not, but I called it Binge.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought it was.
Ken, if you're willing to clean up the PR mess on that one.
Ooh, might have to flush it down that one.
What's this?
The Wire. It's an HBO show.
I like
Fire's grainy.
People tell me it's good.
Mean Girls the most, but I'd probably watch more on Dave's.
Oh, looks like Dave's the winner on Emily. She said
I've always said I'm a good second option. in all
You,
things.
you
like
know
that.
these Parks
That's
and
good,
Rec.
man. That's good.
well, have fun never watching
And
Parks and Rec again.
SNL.
Never watching Parks and Rec again. I'm keeping an eye on Jake Flicks. Nobody's watching that, just me.
You gotta rework that.
Let's go to the Peacock. So
Jake Flicks does not roll off the tongue.
How is it that Netflix obtained the rights to Seinfeld when the Peacock's coming out? How did that work?
Jerry Seinfeld is on Cars and Comedians or whatever the fuck.
I
it
mean,
is.
I understand that, but that's the NBC show. Is Seinfeld?
He probably also hates NBC with a fucking passion. So
Well, no,
That's probably
the
true.
one thing was the rights of Seinfeld are actually owned by Sony.
Oh,
shit.
I did not know that.
Sony's got the
Right.
rights on Netflix. Yeah.
That's the
How
Rock.
about that?
Dave did. But I'm sorry, Ken. No, Ken had Step Brothers. My bad. Ken had Step Brothers.
What the fucking fuck?
Sesame Street or New Girl. He's also got.
Tell you what, if one of us drafted Friends, Seinfeld, and Frasier, we would have captured like everyone from like 80 to 99.
Ken is
How dare you bring?
Everyone would have been in.
How dare you bring?
Yeah,
up
might as well take Cheers too. Just get get all
Cheers.
of our older
Oh,
aunts
yeah,
and
get
uncles.
fucking Taxi too while you're at it.
hey. We never disparaged the great name of Abe Vigoda on this podcast. Abe Vigoda gave us the seed money to start this podcast.
Oh man.
Well, those are the teams. I will post the graphics and the poll tomorrow. Matt, Ken, thank you for joining us. Mac, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Fleetwood JMac, like the band, but a J snuck in there. My podcast is at Mac and Goo Podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts.
Ken, where can we find you and your podcast on social media?
You can find me personally at the Walking Ken 23, so my students can't find me. You can find my podcast at the at JKLOL podcast. We have new podcasts every Monday, so check us out. We are officially on episode 8 next week. We're doing a music festival, so check out the music. So be good stuff.
Love the last. I mean, I listened to both of your podcasts. They're both fantastic. So I can't endorse them enough. So great job, fellas. Dave, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at David_Albiani. And I recommend both these guys. They both know everything pop culture related. Any in sports, anything you have questions about, go to them.
Indeed. And I'm at Jacob_Morocco. Our podcast is SCSL Podcast. We are back on iTunes. Thank God. We're also on Spotify. Go find us there. And we will talk to you next week. We did unfortunately schedule our Cats live watch. That will be June 20th.
Hey, that is fun. That is. I'm so sorry that you're.
I'll bring the ice.
Please make it a drinking game. Make it a
It's
drinking
so
game. for
bad.
God's
It's
sake.
not even worth drinking to. It's so fucking bad.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes, I tried to drink to it and it didn't work.
Oh God.
You didn't drink enough.
I
Yeah,
tried to
clearly.
drink more.
clearly.
Yeah.
Rum Tugger, motherfucker. That's all I'm gonna say. All
Yeah,
right.
Dave
Rum Tugger.
did not know that I put that out there until we surpassed the 25
I
likes.
didn't know.
You had to do it. So
I just checked Twitter and all of a sudden we were watching Cats.
I'm so sorry for your
First
loss.
day of my life.
Oh God, I feel for you.
June 29th at 8 p.m. Dave and I will be suffering through that. So be sure to tune in and we will talk to you guys next week. I'm going to end the broadcast here.